This is the 13th PJ podcast. This is like literally, we've never been able to do a St. Patrick's Day one, so it's going to be so exciting. But big shout out to Twitch as well for the just for like allowing us to be on the front page today. But also we've got like 4 other amazing creators from Ireland and Northern Ireland, whichever they prefer, of course. But I'm going to be introducing them now, and I really hope you are all excited to see them all. If you do Extra Mark podcast, you can check them out through the links in channel, but you can also do their individual names to check out all their social links. So I'm excited to show you all the amazing creators we have on today, which is Jeepo TV, Mr. Gibbon, DB Geek, and of course Lassie as well. Lucy, by the way, your chat's been telling me how to say this, and I have always said you are Lassie, and I think I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
So it's Lassie, because that was how my granny said it, but it's Lucy. You can call me that. It's grand.
Okay, got you. I was about to say, I was like, is it Lassie or Lucy? Because they were saying to me, and I was like, I could be wrong here. I could be making a big mistake. But guys, thank you so much for jumping on for the 13th PJ podcast, and actually the St. Patrick's Day special. And I have been asked by my chat to have subtitles on for most of us, but I'm sure we'll avoid that. Yeah.
They might need it, let's be honest here.
Do you know what? I don't know if anybody has it on their Twitch streams, but I have been requested that so many times over the last year. And I've been like, I don't think I'm that bad. But maybe...
Well, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Jesus, no. If anyone can't understand you, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. What are you people saying? I can't. What's going on here?
But thank you so much for joining today. What we'll do is we'll do the introductions. We will go around, we'll introduce ourselves, our channels, where everybody can find us. And of course, everybody in chat, if you do Extra Mark podcast or the creator's name, you'll be able to link all their socials and follow them. So, Lassie, would you like to go first?
Yeah, hi, my name's Lucy. I'm a partnered Twitch streamer from Northern Ireland, if you can't tell by the accent. I usually play a lot of The Sims. I'm chronically ill and disabled and neurodivergent as well, so I bring a lot of representation in that kind of aspect. But we love chaos in my community. I have lots of geese I see in chat as well. So yeah, and apparently just hit 10,000 followers, so that's crazy. Thank you so much.
Amazing, well done.
So much. That's
Awesome.
mad. Yeah, that's me.
Well done, by the way, for reaching the
Thank you.
10K. Well done. Also, we've linked all your socials, including like Twitter and Instagram and YouTube as well. So yeah, you can find Lassie on all the socials in chat. Oh, look
Thank
at
you
all the
very much.
gooses. They're very cute. Very freaking cute.
They're a
I gotta
bit
say, I love
mad,
it.
so just they're a bit chaotic. Just bear with them.
I have a question. Why a goose?
Because it's a really weird story actually. So
okay.
obviously Lucy Goosey, and then I had someone keep calling me Goose, and I was like, I wanted emotes, but I didn't know what emotes to do. I didn't want like just a picture of myself, and I was like, what's really recognizable? And then it just came up with the goose, and it's just kind of been like that since day one. So yeah, that's kind of why.
And how long have you been on Twitch for?
2.5 years. So yeah, it's been a bit mad.
Aww. Would you, DB, would you like to go next? Introduce yourself, your channel, where to find you, whatever's easiest?
Sure. Yeah. Well, my name's Brendan. I'm known as DB Geek Online. I make content on YouTube, and I also live stream here on Twitch. I'm a variety streamer, so I play lots of different games, whether they're old games or new games. I also create a lot of video game content on YouTube as well. But it's all DB Geek. That's all my handles. You can find me there. And yeah, I just love video games and talking about them and reacting to them. That's what I do.
Hell yeah. How long have you been, did you say how long you've been on YouTube and Twitch?
Well, I've been creating content altogether for about 7 years. But I've been on Twitch for about 4.5 now. So yeah.
Oh, nice. When did you get Twitch partnered, by the way?
I got Twitch partner. I see the unique thing about me is I brought a lot of my YouTube followers over to Twitch, so I had that like advantage going in. I think I reached partner in like the first month on Twitch, which was huge.
Hey.
But yeah, so basically for as long as I've been streaming on Twitch, I've been partner. So, but like I said, I had the added benefit of being a YouTube creator beforehand. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a good idea as well, because I do find like there's more people, at least Irish people, on YouTube than there is on Twitch. Don't know why that is. I think they used to have a crazy amount of people from Ireland on Mixer, and then Mixer's gone now. So I don't know where those people disappeared to, but I think they all went to YouTube, didn't they?
I think so. Most of them.
They're in the
Anyway.
bogs now.
Yeah.
You got their money and they left.
It disappeared.
Probably did that.
So, Gibbon, would you like to introduce yourself, your channel, where to find you, whatever
Yeah.
is easiest?
No bother. So my name is Ed, aka Mr. Gibbon. I've been streaming on Twitch now for about 3.5 years. And I came from a TikTok background during lockdown when it was just kind of blowing up in the country. So I kind of took advantage of that and brought it over onto Twitch. And we've been doing it full time now since day one, I think. I do majority of my content around Escape from Tarkov, DayZ, Grand Theft Auto roleplay, and yeah, that's essentially me. I think that's short and sweet. I think.
Dude,
Oh, and
do you
I'm
know
so
what? I can
sorry
see
as
why.
well. The internet is brutal.
Oh, I seen your tweets. I was like, oh
Oh.
god.
So I'm so sorry if it sounds really bad. Are we allowed curse in this? I mean, it's an
yeah,
Irish
fucking
podcast.
curse
I feel
away,
like
it's
we
an
are.
Irish
Yeah, great. So the internet here at the minute is dog shite. It's so bad. So right now I'm using satellite, but the previous people that were here, they had the satellite was the lowest upload and download speed. So right now I'm trying to see if there's any way for me to like see if I can stream off the phone, but I'm after watching there in the stream and I just look like I'm an 8-bit or something like that. So it was the best I could do. I was like, I'll see if I get it up on the phone, but that was even worse as well. So it's just been chaotic there for the past month now. I'm going grey with it all, so I'm sorry.
Oh no, do you know what? It's going up and down, but I wouldn't worry too much because your sound is coming across fine,
Yeah,
so
we
it's
can hear
fine.
you.
Just say
Okay.
you're like a pixel streamer and you'd be great, you know?
There we go.
It's St. Paddy's Day anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody sees an 8-bit at some point on St. Paddy's Day.
Exactly.
let's be honest.
True.
We
True
could talk, I'd say,
experience.
for 2 or 3 hours about the internet in this country anyways. Like, it's,
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
we will.
Yeah, let's not get
it's
started on that.
baffling. It's baffling.
I've heard that it's bad down south now, but like for the north, our internet is 1 gig nearly everywhere now.
Oh, don't,
Yeah.
Queenie. Don't you do
Yeah,
this to me,
mine's pretty
Queenie.
good. Like,
Oh,
No,
what?
no, no.
It's not
Wow.
for GPO, of course, and it's great, but where I live, it's 1 internet, and everywhere else, it's fucking 1 gig internet. Bar where Jeepo lives, it's fantastic. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Jeepo, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel and everything else?
Yeah. Hi guys. My name is Paul, otherwise known as Jeepo. I'm from Northern Ireland with the accent. You can probably tell that. I've been streaming for about just over 3 years. Because I had my streaming anniversary come up, I think in January. And actually, I was saying just before we started here, Queenie, partly due to you, because I remember having a conversation with you years ago via Discord, actually. I don't even know if you remember that. But anyway, I'm a very small streamer. I'm kind of in a unique position. I mostly run Escape from Tarkov and a few other games in around that sort of ilk. I also host one of the sort of official Tarkov competitions that we do with BSG, which is called Vision. So I'm very, very lucky to be in that sort of world. I've also actually been fortunate enough as a very small streamer to get to do some Twitch rivals, including with you, Queenie. I think we did all right
did.
that time. Yeah, we did okay.
We
My
did.
take on, yeah, we did. We held our own. Let's just, we'll keep it at that.
Oh God, I got carried.
My take on that genre is a little bit different than most. I really focus now on the teamwork and collaboration side of that game. We do have fun and we have good vibes, but it's really about playing the game in a teamwork oriented way and trying to teach other people to play the game, because I'm getting old and slow. I can't do it anymore. But yeah,
Wait, you're not older than me, are you?
old. Look, I got some gray going on here, all right, and you don't. That's all I know. So
I mean, mine's died, so it's a bit different. I'm cheating. So
yeah. Well, as long as I keep the hair, otherwise I'll have like that whole upside down head thing where it's bald on the top and furry on the bottom. I'm not sure. I want
At
that
least you
going
can
on.
grow a beard. I've been trying to grow this now for months. Still nothing.
Same.
That your internet's fine. You've just intentionally lowered the bandwidth so we don't see the scruff. I get it. But yeah, so it's mostly as Tarkov stream these days. I'm probably the smallest streamer here in that respect, because Tarkov is a big game, but it's kind of in that world now. It's quite a mature game on Twitch. So if you're you have your following in the sense of, you follow the big guys and a couple of little guys. So it's kind of in that world, but I love the game, and that's probably what I'm going to focus on. I do play some other things, map clicking, boring sort of games that when you play those, your viewership falls off a cliff, but they're fun. So I do anything.
Yeah, no, what makes sense. I mean, Gibbon and Jibo, do you know each other then? Because you both do Tarkov as well.
I know Gibbon. I know you through Pep a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But you won't know me. I would very. So it's quite funny to be here and like try not to fanboy a little bit because Gibbon's like a big Tarkov streamer. but it's actually I was saying before we started, it's quite funny because usually at no point when I stream do I hear accents that sound like our own. And here we are. There's only like 2 other Tarkov streamers in the world as far as I used to joke that I'm the #1 Northern Ireland Tarkov streamer because I was the only Northern Ireland Tarkov streamer that I knew. So yeah.
How do you keep playing Tarkov? Like that's another thing that I was going to ask it. Like how do you...
I like pain and suffering. There you go.
That explains a lot.
No, I play with a lot of friends. I generally don't solo. I've done a solo wipe before and it's grand, but I like to play with groups now. And that's the, messing people up from a group perspective is way more fun than solo. Yeah.
I think Tarkov can get a bit too much after a while. Like, I mean, I did try it and I'd give it a go, but it was just like, I just couldn't after a while. Like it's too tough, man. It's not like you've played DayZ now as well, Gibbon. You've gone into that, and actually we got partnered on DayZ. My channel did years and years ago, like 8 years ago. So DayZ seems to be a lot better.
DayZ is like that. Like for me, it's the heart of Twitch because that's where. I mean, DayZ came out. What was it like 11, 12 years ago when it came? Yeah, it was 10 years for the standalone. But then the mod was there for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So like it blew up then, and then everyone like that's what got me watching Twitch with like Summit 1G and Buys and all them guys. And then I was like, I kind of want to do this. But no, DayZ is I don't know why there isn't a DayZ 2 yet. It's like I don't know what's going on with that.
I know.
Watch this space. I suspect it's coming because with the Armor Reforger stuff, if you guys have been keeping on top of that, Arma 4 is coming, and then it's just a matter of time because that's a
matter of time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that, and the other game I want to see is PUBG 2. Please, that'd be freaking great. That'd be insane if we got a second one of that. Upgraded graphics, all the original maps. Oh, that'd be great.
He's Irish as well, did you believe? The developer of that.
Yes,
of PUBG from Galway. Oh wow!
Yeah, unknown. Yeah, he's a really nice guy. Really nice guy. Yeah. What the problem is, like, I don't think he wants to do a second game. So, yeah, I don't know about that.
The trick is sell the rights. Sell the rights. Yeah.
He's already rich enough. Yeah. Do you know what? Well, actually, that brings it on to the first question then. And I know Gibbon's already going to give the answer for this because, as you can see, is growing up in Ireland the best and the worst thing, right? And I already know what Gibbon's going to say. So, Gibbon, do you want to go first? Would you like to tell us what would be the worst or best or both?
Oh my God! So I can literally tell you what's been going on my side for the past month or two. It's just been a nightmare. So we moved into this house in when do we move in? It was the 1st of February. But we didn't actually physically move in until March. So we had the first month down paid and everything because we were waiting for the internet to come into the house. And they said that, oh yeah, there's fiber in the area. The National Broadband Ireland, they have it all rolled out in your area. There's just a few bits and pieces that we need to do in order for it to be like linked to your house. It's like, yeah, it's fine. And then they said, actually, wait, you need to have an air code. So for those that are in the chat, an air code is essentially, it's a postcode. Mm-hmm. And when you build a new house, you need to register the house for the postcode, but it wasn't set here. So then we had to apply for an air code. And then they told us, oh, yeah, we got it, but we're going to release it out to you in the next 4 months. So I was like, I was like, well, yeah, you telling me that I have to wait 4 months for fiber to come to my house when it's already here in the area? And they're like, yeah. And I was just like, do you know who I am? I was like, oh, listen, I used everything. It's like, I have 1 million followers here. I have 100,000 followers there. I was like, come on. And then I even said that I was in the tourism industry as well to try to get a bit of leeway because I was saying that the majority of my audience is American. So I was like, I'm promoting Irish streamers and Irish content creators to Americans to come to Ireland. Just like, what are you doing to me? And I got onto a politician, a TD, and he was like, "Right, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, let's milk that. Let's say that you work in the hospitality sector. Let's say that you're also in the medical history too. We'll try and get it out to you." So I was like, "Yeah, just use it all. Just try and get as much information as possible to bring to us." So long story short, we got the go ahead that our air code is going to be sent to us in March 25th, and then I can apply for fiber to put into the house, which will take about 10 days. So I'm hoping at the end of this month that I will be streaming in 4K quality like I was before, and there'll be no more issues. But I tell you what, it is just ridiculous the way that you need to wait for 4 months for yourself to get an air code or a postcode, and then when you have that, you got to wait another further month for technicians to come out and install it. It's ridiculous. It's, oh my god, it's nuts. Whereas like anywhere else, it's like, hey, can you just give me the code? Yeah, no bother. Give me the coordinates to your house, blah, 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 and then they send it to you, and then you apply off for fiber, and that's it. Like it's
not
so
a brand
annoying.
new house, is it?
It was built 2 years ago, so it's fairly new. But
Yeah.
all the ducting, all the wiring, it's like fiber. Like we have the distribution box for fiber literally outside the front gate, and all they need to do is send the technician out to link it. Like the wires are like there. Okay? I'm not even kidding. They're here.
Do this.
Right? They just need to, and that's all. And they wouldn't do that. Another funny thing was I used my neighbor's postcode or air code to send the technicians out, and they came out. And I shit you not, the air code that I gave him is to a house that's not even there. It's a shed, it was a cottage, but the cottage was knocked so that they could build a bigger property on their land. That's what a majority of people do. If you're buying land, you need to buy the property, and then you demolish the property, build up. So there's a cottage there across the road that's not even a cottage. It's just leveled, but there still is a postcode, and it's directly across the road from us. So the technicians called out, and they were just looking at it, and they're like, "Yeah, no, this isn't the house. Let's go." And they just left. I know. So it's
God.
like,
Sounds familiar.
so that would be the internet situation in this country is definitely mind-boggling. Definitely is
Yeah.
mind-boggling, and it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, they don't care, which
It's
is
strange, isn't it? Because you guys
It's
would
very
obviously
strange.
like, the massive companies in Dublin. You'd be like, surely you'd have the best internet in the world, considering Google's there and Microsoft's there
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And you're like,
nothing.
nah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I was even saying to him, I was like, "What if I was the fucking president of Ireland?" And they said, "Absolutely not. We want to do it. We wouldn't do it for Michael D at all." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So it's nuts.
That is absolutely freaking nuts. So you would say the internet's the worst thing, right?
Probably at the minute, yeah.
I think so. For me, because I sort of grew up half and half. So I grew up in County Louth on a mountain in the middle of nowhere that had no TV signal or anything for the first 5 years of my life. Just about had electric at that point. It was literally, it literally up the mountain. I don't even know why we lived
Had to
up
get
there,
a
but we
goat to
did.
get off the top.
You wouldn't even be able to walk up it. It was like countryside roads. There was no main road up to where we lived, and it was just like a little cobble road that somebody'd made, type of thing. And then we moved to Northern Ireland, in the middle of nowhere, again with no freaking internet, like dial up and all that. But I gotta say, I think the worst for me is just like, when you grew up gaming, again, I don't know what age everybody is, right? But PC gaming in particular, when you grew up in Ireland, people just called you an absolute nerd. They were like, "No, you're gaming, you're a nerd, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they'd all own consoles. That's the funny part, is they'd all own like a PlayStation 1 or
It's
PlayStation
like,
2.
what?
But
You
if
have a PC for video games?
Exactly.
What are you doing, you nerd?
You're a
But
freaking
it's still
nerd.
kind of like that, though. It's still
Yeah,
kinda
is
like
it?
they
Oh,
are.
yeah.
people I
it's
know
just
just play
bad.
on PlayStation or Xbox.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, yeah.
Weird.
Or
You
they'll
say you
just
have a
have one.
PC and they just think you're filthy rich.
And yet,
Yeah.
if you call them a console peasant, they all get really annoyed. I don't
They
get
do.
it. It seems about right, doesn't it? Yeah.
So
I have
think
both,
that's the
so
one. Yeah, I have both, but like it was just weird when they were like, "Oh, they talk about the latest COD," and I'd be like, "That's great," and all we have COD 2 on PC, and they'd be like, they'd be so confused, like, oh, do you? On PC? Why would you play it on that? So I think that's probably the worst, but the best thing I would say is that back a long time ago, you know, obviously we don't have like a crazy amount of people like moving over compared to like most countries. So you don't really have much access to as many multicultural type of backgrounds. But gaming give you that, where like you grew up and you get to see all these different things, you got to learn so many things. So for me, it was like amazing that I got to meet so many different people from all around the world, and I was like, it's a good thing because gaming is there. Obviously, it was very hard to connect online, you know, 2 gig internet back then, but it was still really, really cool to be able to do that, and being like, oh, I live in the countryside, but you know, I can still talk to everybody around the world. So that's sort of good and a bad thing there. But if anybody else would like to,
Queenie flexing her 2 meg countryside internet makes me
two
want to
shitty
throw.
megs.
It's horrific. I literally today was down at my dad's house, which is in the boonies, right? So in Northern Ireland, we have the east of the River Bann and west of the Bann. That's kind of like the economic divide, I guess. And I go west of the Bann, and you go back 20 years, but you also, if you have running water, it's the river at the bottom of your property, right? It's that kind of thing. And so
Oh God, yeah.
to this day, on my dad's place, we have 0.5 meg internet. So I can't stream, I can't do anything. I can sit on Discord, we can barely watch Netflix. It's so bad. But kind of like you, Mr. Gibbon, the same sort of thing where our neighbors on both sides have fiber. And the government have like done this whole thing where they pledge to, you know, get everybody connected. And I have emails going back about 8 years trying to like get this one house please connected, because the man would love to watch some Netflix. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. But to your other point, Queenie, yeah, the gaming community side of things is phenomenal, because I lived in England for a long time and actually had internet. And then when I moved back to Northern Ireland, where I am now, I live somewhere with gigabyte internet as well. And it's great because, you know, I've met people. I've been gaming for 15 years, and in various gaming communities, I've met people. We've went drinking. I'm getting married this year, and some of them are coming to the wedding. They're flying in from all over the world. Some of these guys.
That's great.
So it's like the community aspect of video gaming is amazing, and Twitch is relatively new if you think back in terms of like the early days of PC gaming, and you know, we're playing Counter-Strike and all that, but like that community stuff is second to none. It really is. That's the biggest plus point for me. Yeah.
I've got another question. This is for everybody, but when you meet other Irish creators, or not just creators actually, but other Irish and Northern Irish players, do you see like, what's the reaction to you guys? Like, what do you normally get? I always get like a mixed reaction of some people are really excited, or other people go and start asking very weird questions. So I feel like some people have literally just got the internet, which is weird. So they'll be very strange to you. Do you get that, DB? Because you're on YouTube quite more often than Twitch. So how do you feel like the audience reacts to you? How do you like? What do you do? Do you get a lot of weird things from the Irish side or not?
Mostly from, I'd say, other Irish people are more fascinated by the idea of like what I do and the things I create and stuff online. So the funny thing is, anytime I'm like at some sort of social event, and the question goes around the table, oh, what do you do for a living? Obviously, I'm always a little bit nervous when they come to me, because I have to try to explain myself. And like, for some reason, even till this day, Irish people are still fascinated by YouTubers and streamers and stuff. They don't understand it. But the first thing they ask me, and you'd never ask anybody this question, is, how much money do you make? Literally, that's always the first question they ask me, as if it's a common thing to ask me. You wouldn't ask that about anybody else's regular job, you know? But I don't really say what I make, or anything. I just say enough to pay the bills or whatever. But yeah, I think it's enjoyable for me now to explain it, because people actually genuinely get a kick out of it, because I think it's incredible. Like, these days you can actually make money and a career out of, you know, playing video games or just making content and stuff that you like to talk about. So it makes good conversation, to be honest. So it's more of a positive experience, I think. Yeah. For sure.
That makes sense. Yeah, because obviously we do all different platforms, but particular Gibbon does TikTok and you do YouTube, and so the reaction would be different, I think, than what me and Lucy and Jeepo might more experience. Like for Twitch wise, again, I don't know if you two agree, but I get a mixed reaction, and I think the most people I've banned, I think like country ratio wise, actually from Northern Ireland. I have
I
a
would
lot.
actually agree.
Not
Not
Southern Irish.
surprised.
but
Not
Northern Irish.
surprised.
Yeah, so whenever I first started streaming, obviously I put Northern Ireland in the tags because it just obviously I'm from Northern Ireland. And the amount, I don't know if it's because maybe Queenie, me and you are women, that we're attacked more online because of things like that. But the amount of like sectarian shit I get is absolutely unhinged. And obviously most of my mods are not from Northern Ireland. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm having to do like debriefs and be like, this is words you look out for and this is words you do not look out for. And it's just so funny the amount of people you have to have like banned or blocked. But I've actually started multi-streaming over to TikTok now as well, which is really cool.
Ah.
And the amount of people that come in and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know people from Northern Ireland did this. And I'm like, yeah, we exist. And it's so funny because on Twitch, I rarely meet anyone from Northern Ireland or Ireland, especially people like even viewers, like, or they're few and far between. 90% of my audience is American. And it's like, it's so funny to me that like no one from Ireland knows what Twitch is. It's like so few and far between.
Yeah, I think the best way that I've ever explained it, because obviously I think I had 8-9 years ago when we first got Twitch partnered, we were like, okay, this is sort of it. We were not going to go full time. We didn't go full time for like another year after that. So we've been like full time content creation for like 7 years. And I remember my mum being excited. She didn't know really what Twitch was, but she was like sort of explaining it to other people, to adults and family members. And a family member of mine, he's married in, and she said to him,
fuck him then.
I know. He's not blood related, but it's like he's married in. He's married one of my aunts. Who's very like, she's a very cool aunt. She's one of those who loves gaming and stuff like that. She's very, very sweet. But her basically my mom said to the partner like, oh, she's doing content creation. She's doing that. She's doing on Twitch, and he was like, get her out of that job. That is ridiculous. Don't get her into that. That is a stupid idea. She will never get anywhere with that. Stop her from doing it. Don't worry, I'll get her hired by, get her in a civil job into what, because he works for like the, what do you call it, the government or whatever. He's like, don't worry, I'll get her one of them jobs. And I was just like, please tell him no. Please tell him no. But I find like he's in his 50s, I think. So I think like depending on what age like group they are, is depending on how they react to it. And I do find like the older ones over here still don't really get it too much, but the younger ones, especially YouTube wise, I do feel like if they've watched YouTube or they've understood it, they're a bit more positive towards it. They're very like, oh, it's like YouTube, all right, but it's live. Okay, I understand. And it's the same with TikTok. I feel like the way I've seen it for the Irish side, they are more positive, and they're like, okay, I get it. But I do feel like the older audience are still not there for it. And I'm thinking about all the younger Irish people, and they're starting to understand that it's like, okay, it's freaking great. Like we actually have representation. Like we didn't used to have before. So I think they're growing on it a little bit. Given, what about your sort of like TikTok side? What do you see with it?
So I think the weirdest thing is, not to give myself a big head, anytime I go into the city, I get stopped. Yeah, which is absolutely insane. It's crazy. I went in to get my haircut during the week, and one of the guys that was outside the barbershop was like, are you the guy on TikTok? You're the Twitch streamer? And I was like, yeah. I was like, well, and he goes, oh man, I love your stuff. I've been following you for ages. And like 2 minutes later, I went into CEX to see if I can get some retro games. And I was there looking through the PlayStation 2 section. And then all of a sudden is, Kevin, is that you, bud? And I'm like, well, and he goes, oh, big fan, man, big fan. He's like, keep it up, keep it up. I was like, this is crazy. Like, it's absolutely bizarre. So there definitely is, with the likes of TikTok, there definitely is a bigger audience there with the Irish side, because I feel like on my side, from streaming on Twitch for 3.5 years, again, my audience is predominantly American, and any of the Irish people that come in, I feel like they're there because they either have an interest of doing it themselves, or I don't know, they either watch someone I play with and then they're like, oh, who's this guy? He's Irish. Oh my god, this is so cool. He's playing with an Irish person. And then like it was crazy when I was playing with Dr. Lupo a few months back on Tarkov. I had like a bombardment of Irish people coming into my stream being like, oh my god, I never knew that there was an Irish streamer who plays Tarkov. I was like, yeah. I was like, well, what's going on? I've been playing Tarkov for like 3 years. and that was really, really cool. But I feel like you're not going to have an Irish person watch another Irish person. You're going to have an Irish person watch an American person, or you're going to have an American person watch an Irish person. It's just, I understand it, because you're not going to want to like listen to Peter up the road that's playing video games when you're like seeing him half the time not playing video games. You know what I mean? Whereas with Americans, they're like, oh my gosh, like such a fucking cute Irish accent. I want to listen to this all day. But it's with the TikToks, I think it's because it's short form content, and the way that TikTok promote their videos, from my experience, is it's down to regional. So it's like, if mine is going to blow up over in America, eventually it's going to blow up in Ireland, or if it's going to blow up in Ireland, it might blow up over in the UK as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of iffy in that sense. But when it comes to like my parents still don't really know what I do. Kind of sucks in a sense, but they're just out of the loop. They just think that I'm playing video games and teaching people how to play video games. But then like when I rocked up to the house in a brand new car, they're like, wait, are you sure it's just video games you do? You don't do anything else, huh? And so then I remember at the Christmas table, I really had to sit down and explain to them all what exactly it is I do. And I was showing them like pictures and videos and everything, and then I was showing like the viral videos that I had on TikTok and such, and then they kind of got it. But my mother is still oblivious. She's just like, yeah, no, my son plays video games now and he's a multimillionaire. I'm like, yeah, you tell all your friends that. But going back as well to like, they're always asking too, that question that you were saying there, it's like, how much do you make? That is such a normal thing in Ireland.
Oh,
I hate it
all the time.
I hate it so much. Yeah. But I've gotten to the part where I'm just like, oh, I'm a multimillionaire.
Yeah, lean into it. Yeah. Just lean into it. It's
more than you.
Just manifest it into the world that'll come in the future. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm a multimillionaire.
It's such a thing, though. Like, no matter where you are on the island, it seems to be such a thing that it's like keeping up with the Joneses, I guess. If you're not from here, it's like, oh, I need to know what you earn doing this fucking dream job of playing video games, so I know that I earn more than you, and you're wasting your time online. Like, that's that's the undercurrent I always get from that question. It always
I've actually
has
never had that question ever.
Oh, you're lucky.
Oh, wait. Just wait.
Never, ever.
You'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah, you will. You will. Just wait.
Listen, I've been on for 2.5 years.
Oh, somebody will get. I mean, I got. Speaking of which, not Belfast Telegraph, but it actually is. Yeah, I got interviewed for a newspaper over here, and one of the first questions the interviewer asked was like, "So how much do you make?" And I was like, well, I do well enough.
More than you, bitch.
Yeah. It's like, I literally said, well, I got my house through gaming, so like there's that, but I don't really speak about like how much I earn because people get a bit funky on it. She was like, oh, I understand. We'll just put it down as you got a house through gaming. Okay. And I was like, okay. That's sweet. I was like, yeah, thanks. I think it is a bit more than that, but the question she asked was very generic and very like confused by what this actually was and what Twitch was, and she was like, she wrote it down. Very very like weird article. And the other thing that I thought was like, I expected them to have somebody who knew about gaming. Nobody. They knew nothing about gaming, like not a single thing. And I was just like, I don't know why, but I just expected it. And it's the same with, I think, a lot of things that happen in Ireland, Northern Ireland. Because the other thing that happened was, now this is more down Southern Ireland as an issue. RTE came up to my house, the studio, and they did a, like, I don't know, it's like a half interview, half whatever. And they had two people, two like interviewers or something. I was showing them what I did, and about gaming and all that stuff, and like showing them what Twitch was. I even streamed it a little bit to show them what a streamer does. And the funny part was that my part got axed for a person who was in his bedroom. Now this is the best part about this, was they axed me and put somebody else who was in his bedroom in an untidy room that, like, it was bed covers, everything, like literally it wasn't what Ireland is as gaming, but instead they showed his tiny little bedroom with a PC that he's playing Rocket League with, and it literally a messy bed. He didn't even make the bed, and I was like, why did you ask me with this room? Instead you showed this guy in a small little, like, teeny little bedroom in his parents' house.
That's intentional.
And, that was intentional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was like they wanted to show it in a bad light.
they
It's
don't
very odd.
understand, so they need to show it as in, oh, look, you have to live this fucking slum lifestyle.
Mm.
Pardon my French. You have to live in this slum lifestyle to be able to do this job. And yes, okay, the majority of content streamers aren't multi-millionaires, but your average normie in the street knows of, they might know a Lupo, as you say, or they might know a Logan Paul or one of these guys. And so to them, if you're a content creator, you're either earning those millions of pounds or dollars or euros or whatever your local currency of choice is, or you're a fucking waster. You're just wasting your
Yeah.
time. And they like a loser story here. I feel like in a lot of other
Of
countries,
course.
like,
100%.
the vast majority of people that watch me are Americans, Canadians, and other Europeans. I can count probably on one or two hands how many are from the island here. The majority of them are lovely people and they've stuck around. But for every other one that comes along, and maybe this is uniquely Northern Irish actually, it's whereabouts are you from? The accent got a little stronger there, didn't it? Sorry. It's whereabouts are you from and who are you? Because they really want to know who you are. And I think that might be more uniquely Northern Irish. But people here seem to love a loser story more than a winner story, I find.
Yeah.
Which is a
That's
sad
just video
thing in a way.
games in general. They always
Yeah.
want to just bring us down.
Mm.
But I feel like unless you play hurling or football
Oh, yeah.
or something like that,
Oh.
you're kind of a nobody. So
But that was like
it's
cool.
yeah, it's
Like,
horrendous.
yeah.
It's
Even
so old fashioned.
still.
Like the country
It
is still
is.
stuck in a different time period, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Ooh.
so
Yeah, speaking of which, then, because we're speaking about like things in the school, right? Okay, so I'll do. I don't know who hasn't answered Lassie. Well, because you know I do content creation, have you had anybody reach out to you from your past, I suppose, in real life? Well, because we'll do this in turns. In real life, who's been a bit either, like has just been amazed that you do this, or has reached out and be like, how do you do this? How do you like? Has anybody reached out to you from your like school days or anything like that?
Honestly, no.
Oh, jeez.
So
Lucky
whenever
one.
I was in school, I was really badly bullied. I've said at the start of the podcast, I'm chronically ill and disabled. So in a school, I was a lot of the times in like a wheelchair, and like I have a muscle disease, so I wasn't able to like talk or walk or do any of those things. So I was really badly bullied for that. But absolutely no one really takes an interest in Twitch or streaming at all. So I'm kind of free from all that, and I'm really happy about it. To be fair, I don't want anyone to contact me. If it's like
Just right.
random people that ask me, because I often get people coming into my streams because I don't know why, but it's always like, how have you done this? Like I had someone come in the other day that found me from International Women's, like in the front carousel. And they were like, oh, I'm from Belfast, Met, and I'm doing a BTEC and I would love to get into it. How did you get into it? And I was like, how do I say that I just got bored and I didn't have any friends in Northern Ireland, so I just loaded up the computer and started streaming? Like there's no kind of get good quick or like get a following quick. Like mine's been very slow and steady, which is great in my opinion, but it's like people still don't understand, like you all said earlier, your parents don't get it. My mum and dad actually are great about it. My mum wants to come on my stream.
Aw.
oh, that's sweet.
She's an absolute head case, and the first thing she says to me is, will there be wine? And I was like, I can get you wine, mother, don't you worry about it.
Wine stream incoming.
So so if you see my account banned, that'll be why. Because my mum's an absolute head case. But it's so funny to me how people over here just don't get it at all. Like I was a teacher before I started streaming, and again I wasn't able to, like I was working from like 8 till 6 every day, and then I was also streaming from like 6 till like midnight 1 a.m. every day of the week. So I was absolutely knackered. And then once I was able to go full time last January, it's so funny to me because I've had actually like aunties and uncles come up to me and they've noticed, like they've said, oh, I showed my cousin who was like 8 years old at the time, and I was like, well, he, number one, should not be on Twitch. Number two, don't be showing up my content because you don't want to hear me shouting and swearing and all and carrying on. But I haven't had anyone, like not a single person. But in my school, it was very much like, Northern Irish grammar schools. It's if you don't do sports or you're not top of your class, they don't give a shit. So it was like I was very much middle of the road the whole way through. So unless you were either going to Oxford or Cambridge or you were doing like captain of the rugby team, like they just didn't give a shit. So you were left to kind of squander or like sit in the middle of the road. And yeah, I'm glad, to be fair.
No, I mean, I think you've got really, really lucky with that then as well, because it does seem like especially over here where it's like, a friend of a friend, they hear one thing, so thankfully I think your family have been very But the sounds of it, they've been very respectful of it. They've made sure that they don't put you in a position of, you know, oh,
Yeah.
they're bragging about it and this person can do this for you. So that's actually like the fact that they've been very much like, okay, we need to make sure there's boundaries here and we don't, you know, squish them. That's really freaking good. And also, just want to say, your growth isn't slow. 10K in 2.5 years is fucking insane. It's really
Listen,
good.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
really
know why
good.
it is.
Yeah.
Really good.
No, especially
good.
on Twitch, you don't understand. Like, this
Yeah.
is something I've explained to a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
people. YouTube and TikTok and Twitch's growth is completely different, and
Absolutely.
it's and I'm sure we'll all agree here with like TikTok, you can blow up, you know, if you do the right algorithm, and YouTube is the same, but Twitch doesn't have any discoverability. If you can get a certain following, it's great. It's freaking great. I mean, like, we do nothing on YouTube, and we've had like a crazy amount of views in the past when we actually bothered to do anything, like years and years ago. Some of our videos got 30K doing nothing, but then just like learning a teeny bit about the algorithm. But then on Twitch, it takes ages to grow that, and you have to have a certain thing. You have to hit the right game at the right time. It's like, if you've got the 10K, you're beating majority of Twitch if you consider that. Like, that is
You'll
insanely
make me
good.
cry if my head's too big. You
Yeah.
know?
I know.
Guys, this is work.
And especially for Ireland and Northern Ireland, that's another thing where I think a lot of people don't realize. Do you know how hard it is to find people, especially for like Irish and Northern Irish creators? There's very few. There is only a handful that make it to even partner on Twitch and YouTube and TikTok. It's a very small bunch. And I think the best way I can say it is 2019. Twitch did a Ireland creator meetup, and how many creators do you think showed up to this? This is like a just partners only. 10 of us.
3.
There's 10.
Wow.
There's 10. There's 10. Like, and that was from
Oh
Northern
my
Ireland
God.
and
I'm
Southern Ireland.
surprised you
That's all
got that
they had.
many.
I know.
Yeah, they were probably stretching a bit too with the definition, I suspect.
They were stretching. Yeah, it was a big freaking stretch. So, like, I mean, that was the best that they could come up with, and that was Twitch thinking, you know, oh, who do we send a message to? And this is all they could get. And they had more staff there than they had partners. I was like, beautiful times. So, and that was quite some time ago. Obviously, things have changed and there's more. But, like, you know, it is a small country and you're doing really well. So don't worry.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
you're doing
you.
really
I was-
freaking well.
I was actually going to say something. Someone brought it up earlier and said about trying to explain what you do as a job to someone. I was saying just before we came on this podcast, I was saying that when I was signing my marriage license this year, I had to give my job, and I was like, I'm a streamer, and the person that looked at me was like, I was like, not that kind. No, I play games.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And I was
no.
just, isn't it so funny that that's become so mainstream and people still don't know about Twitch? I'm like, it's crazy how like you have to try and explain it that way. I was like,
Yeah.
immediately no.
Yeah, typing in like Twitch streamer on job title doesn't exist, or content creator doesn't exist. So you have to put it
either.
as a entertainer or
I put it down as an adult
IT.
entertainer. So it all looks like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I tell
Dude.
people because I don't stream full time because I'm a very, very small streamer. But when people do ask, and because they know I do this, it's a huge passion of mine anyway. They're like, "What is you?" I put the yellow fuzz on tennis balls. It's easier to explain that concept to people than streaming. But if I really get into it, I rub mayonnaise on my toes on video, and some people like that. You get a lot of
There's a
followers.
viral
Say
TikTok.
that
There's
that
an
word is
image.
banned in my stream.
Since you've said that, Jipo, I'm gonna make sure that I pretend I don't know you after that. So, like, yeah. If anybody asks me, I don't know him. The guy who puts mayonnaise and toes. Nah, I don't know who that is. No, thank you. Do you know what? We'll go DP. Same question to yourself then.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we rolled into 3 questions, I think, at that point.
yeah, what question are we on? We're on 3, are we?
Oh, fuck. Dude, my
just,
attention span is
like,
a peanut.
As in like friends
so if
reaching
anyone
out
from
and stuff like that,
schools
people in the
reached
past
out.
Yes.
kind of thing. Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah, for me, I think it's I've been have more of like a positive experience with it, because when I started doing YouTube, it was a long time ago. I was probably the only person in Kilkenny, because that's where I'm from, that was actually doing it at the time. So it was very, very unheard of when I was doing it, and people just thought it was strange, you know, which is, you know, that's fine because I was the only one doing it at the time or whatever. But as the years went on, people started to see that I was actually gaining a following, and people started to know me online and stuff like that, and seeing my videos and seeing me improve as the years went on. I get more and more people kind of reaching out and saying, you know, fair play to you, congratulations, you're doing really well. So it's more positive than anything. At first, it was more of a negative experience because people thought it was odd or I was wasting my time. Like, my parents really didn't believe in what I did. My mother more so than my dad. Like, my father just thought I was just wasting my time. I was lazy, didn't want to get a job, even though I was working as well alongside it. But he just thought I was just wasting my time and making an idiot of myself for years. But then as the years went on and he's seen that I'm actually gaining a following and I do make an income from this, he started to respect it a little bit more. And now he thinks highly of what I do and he does respect it a lot more. So like, there's this huge barrier you do have to get past, I feel, over here when it comes to creating content, because a lot of it can bring you down very quickly, especially when people don't get it. But once you prove to people that there is something here and you can make something out of it, that's when the respect comes along and people actually genuinely are more interested in what you do and want to know more about it. So for me, it's like people I went to school with and stuff, they've reached out, or I've met them on the street and they say, oh, how's the streaming going, or how's the content creating going? And it's nice to hear that because they're aware that I do it and I'm making something out of it. So for me, it's just been positive since. So yeah, pretty good.
That's really sweet. Do you think it's like, also, I think the same as I've said, last days type of thing, where it's because your family have started becoming positive about it? I think everybody sort of like, it's, I think Aaron's very small, so it's like who you know and they all sort of speak about it type of thing. But do you think that's your family being positive about it really helped?
I think so. I think so, to an extent it did anyway, I think. But as the time went on as well and people became more, familiar with the idea of what streaming and content creating is, then it became a little bit more normal and people could understand it a lot more. Now, obviously, being from Ireland, it still takes a lot to get through to people of what I do, but the majority of people from, we'll say, my age group understand what I do and they respect it, because especially like over lockdown, I don't know if you had the same experience, but like loads of my friends started streaming and stuff because they had nothing else to do. And I'm going to give the streaming thing a go because Brendan does it and he's doing well and it looks like fun and it sounds like a dream job. Most of them only lasted about 2 or 3 weeks and they realize it's a commitment.
Hard.
And there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of time that goes into it and sacrifices that you have to make to actually make time for it. And you realize, okay, this is actually not for me. And then you actually get a little bit more respect because they're like, Jesus, I tried that. That's hard. And he does it every day, so props to him. So yeah, it's been positive more than anything. Yeah, I would say.
Agreed. That's a really nice way to spin on it, because once they realize, they're like, oh, okay, it's a bit different than what I realized. That's very, very sweet.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
For
sure. Given what about you? Now, I think you've sort of touched on it a little bit with family, but in regards to like, if you had anybody weird reach out to you, or maybe just asking about streaming or advice or anything like that from,
Not really weird. It was all I got like an influx of people DMing me on my old personal Facebook page and then my current Instagram. A lot of boys and girls who I grew up with, who I hadn't talked to in about 10 or so years, and they're like, oh my god, I saw you on TikTok and I saw you up on Twitch, would you have any advice? I'd love to do it. And I give them the advice, and what I say to them is like, look, as you say, it is a commitment, it's a job. You can't go into it looking for the money straight away, because there's only like 0.5% of Twitch who make a living off of Twitch, and the rest is just kind of like a hobby, kind of more sense. It's definitely it's a very, very hard job. It's not just you turning on the press go live button, you're playing video games, that's it. It's you that is engaging with the chat. I remember when I first started streaming, I was there talking to myself, I'd say, for the first 2 weeks of an audience between 0 to 10. It was oh my god, it was torturous. I was like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? I was like, I thought I'd be able to go in here and just have an Irish accent today and everyone would be coming in and stuff, but no, I wasn't that sense. So I just said to them, saying stuff like, oh, listen, thank you so much for reaching out, and I would give them my advice, but I think the best thing about that was I actually had more people messaging me and saying well done, because when I grew up, I was a very, very fake person. And by fake was I tried to be someone I wasn't so I could fit in with like the popular crew.
People pleaser.
Yeah. So I was heavily into rugby. I played for for 2 teams. I trained 4 times a week, and then I was pretty decent in martial arts as well. So I was a fairly active kid, but in my heart, it was just video games. That's all I wanted to do. Just video games, video games, video games. I loved it so much. But in order for me to fit in with any clique or anything at all like that, I had to play rugby or something. I hated football, I hated soccer, and I hated hurling. I loved rugby because my family came from a rugby background. I really enjoyed it. But I was always that kind of like closeted gamer. Whereas it's like, oh, Ed, he definitely doesn't play games. He's just, you know, he's just a sporty kind of dude. But then when I got into college, it was really strange. So I failed the Leaving Cert. So for those who don't know what the Leaving Cert is essentially it's like a way for you to get into university or college after you do your GCSEs or after you have high school or secondary school or something like that. I actually failed it. I failed maths, and I did not want to go back again because I loved school, but I hated learning it. So I went off and I did a a PLC.
PLC, yeah.
Yeah, so
level 6 or level.
Exactly,
whatever it
yeah.
is.
So I went off and did that. But I did it in software development and game design. And everyone
oh my
was
God,
like,
we did a similar course, yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
but like all of my mates were like, wait, you're doing fucking what now? I'm sorry. It's like, you should be going off and doing something else. Like instead of being a nerd, I was like, I kind of am. You know? So I did that, and here we are. You know. So the messages I got from people, they weren't weird. I was just very surprised by the amount of people that reached out saying fair play or asking for advice. I never got anything strange from someone being like, you know what? When I first started, it wasn't like everyone, but it was a lot of people was like saying, are you certain that you should be doing that for a career? But you see, what happened to me was I started during lockdown. Like there was dozens of Irish streamers. It was ridiculous. It was mental. I was in a Discord with, I'd say, like 50 odd Irish streamers, and like we were like passing ideas back and forth and such, and it was chaotic. But I was in the financial industry just after college, because I went back. I dropped out from software development and I went off and I did a business course or a business degree. And after that, I went off into the financial industry. So I was completely different to what I was doing before that. So when I got fired because of lockdown, I said, you know what, I'm going to start streaming. But then it was so strange because on my Instagram, I'd be in suits. I'd be in like my partner's, my business partner's really fancy car. So it looked like that was a fucking pretentious little prick. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is this guy doing, kind of a way? And then all of a sudden, the next Instagram picture I put on was like a really shitty headset with like a microphone and me playing my PlayStation. I was like, I'm trying something new. And everyone's like, what? What are you doing? It's like, you had a really good job and you had your own office and everything, and now look at you. But so it took a while. I think I saw a bit of growth after maybe about a year on streaming on Twitch, until people are like, okay, he's doing okay. He's still doing it a year later. He's doing okay. And that was it.
That's really good. That's like that's quite positive as well. Like it sounded like everybody was worried about you at the start, and then they realized, okay, no, he's got it. No, we don't need to say anything. It's fine. So it feels like more of a just concern. They're like, okay, is he doing the right thing? Okay,
Yeah,
he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. Gifo, what about you?
In a way similar, but flip it on its head. And what I mean by that is I actually still work in a technology industry role as my full-time job. So streaming is my part-time gig, I guess you could call it. I would love to make it my full-time gig. I've been streaming for 3 years, and it's, it is, as you said, the realistic take on the situation is it's a slow grind. It's exceptionally hard work. You can have a bad day at work or in your personal life, and you still have to go live, and you still have to smile and do that. And if you've that can be hard. That's something that people sleep on if they've not tried this. But I live in absolute fucking fear of the people in my work life finding out that I stream and coming by, because I am an exceptionally different person. Because when you said, you kind of put on that fakery when you were younger. I kind of do that in my work life because this is the professional Jeepo. This is not real Jeepo. Jeepo's over here wanting to teabag people when he shoots them in the face in Tarkov, right? Or swear profusely when he gets shot in the head, more realistically. And so it's quite different. The only people that really know I stream are close family and friends, and then obviously my online gaming community, of which are a lot of them, because we are a close-knit community, are actually friends now in real life anyway. And so it's quite a different perspective on things. If you knew my real name, you would find my LinkedIn profile with me in that suit, and it's quite cringe to think about it as I'm sitting here as a gamer, because that's not what I want to do. I'm fortunate enough to work from home these days, so I can literally turn fucking Outlook off at 5:01 and I'm straight on to getting ready for streaming if I'm doing it. So it's a bit of a different take on it. But mostly people in real life are pretty supportive in terms of the ones that know that I do it. I do have cousins and close friends that'll come in and watch the stream every now and again and that sort of thing. So that's quite nice. It would be nice to flip it the other way and go full time, but there would need to be a lot of growth, but B, I'm at that age now that it's quite terrifying. The idea of jumping into that, like, with both feet and cutting everything else off, it bloody terrifies me. So credit to you guys that have done it, because you've made that leap. It's a huge leap of faith, and I think you said, given, like, is it 0.5 or 1%, maybe, to be generous, of Twitch creators, to use Twitch as an example, are economically sort of sustained by that platform. It's so hard, and you need to be, we see this all the time. You need to be active on multiple platforms. You need to be pushing out content all the time, which means you need to know how to be able to create content, both from a technical perspective. I can edit videos and talks and all of that, and I can actually go and play the video game either to a good standard or at least to a funny standard. Maybe I play badly, but at least it's content of some description. So there's a lot more to it, and I think people sort of sleep on that. They think it's go live, put game on, play a game, millions of dollars. It's
if
nice
only
to work like that.
it would be fantastic.
I think I think we've all got sort of mixed experiences depending, I think, on who sort of like got around us or near us, from the signs of it. I think the worst thing for me was because when I moved away from my previous job, I think the way that I basically left it is that, so I left from a full-time job to part-time really quickly, where when I got to like a certain level on Twitch, I had to say to them, guys, I need to drop my hours down from full-time hours to part-time. And I was working like 60 hours a week and trying to do content creation at the same time. And I explained to them, again, this is like 2016, I think. I explained to them that, okay, it's this is what I'm doing. I need to drop the hours down. And they said no. And I said, well, you're going to lose me if you don't, it's up to you. You're going to lose me. That's your choice. I will. And they're like, no, you should quit that. Content creation, you should quit. That's a ridiculous thing to pursue. Your job is here and this is your career. And I was like, no, it's not. No, this is just a basic job. I mean, you don't pay me too much more than minimum wage. That's not how it's going to work. So yeah, they had 2 months and they didn't do it. So I just literally went in, handed my notice in, says, I'm not actually doing my, I'm not going to do the 2 weeks notice. There's no chance in hell I am doing that, because I give you 3 months sitting there waiting for you to find somebody else to fill my position. Good luck trying to sort out all your IT issues and all the other things you've rang me about over the last 2 years. Good freaking luck. And, they tried to ring and stuff like that and say sorry, and I was like, nah, it's too late. I just found, I went sort of not full-time content creation, but like the full-time hours, but had a part-time job in the weekend. So I was trying to, as much as possible, put the hours in. But I found, because they sort of knew about that back then, that some people have reached out, but in a weird way. So I've got siblings, and my siblings have spoke about me to other people before, and I find like it's more along the lines of my siblings' friends that react differently. So one of them thought I was a dominatrix. So one of them started sending me weird Facebook messages, because they were like, that must be what she is. Or what is it? Findom, that's the name.
Again, it's what women deal with in this space as well. Like, it's soon as you say about streaming or making content, it's like, oh, I know what that is, and you're like, actually, no,
Yeah.
that's not what it is, because they can't comprehend that women actually play games too. So it's
Yeah.
like you just
I
have to
have
deal
to,
with
Exactly
that.
it. That's
I have to
exactly
cleanse
it.
the office every time I go. Like, if I'm on a work call, if I'm on like an actual Google Hangout with work or a Zoom meeting, I have to go into the back of the office here, and for obvious reasons, this has to be moved, and I have to blur the background of shit. And sometimes I have had some of my colleagues go, "Dude, that's a crazy looking microphone. Do you do something on the internet?" I'm like, "No, I just like good audio. That's it." End
Yeah.
of discussion. What did you do at the weekend, guys? You know, it's very different.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you definitely find that as well. I think I've
Yeah.
been on a couple of like consultations about gaming and like companies that want to come to game. They're like, that's such a cool room, and it'd be like do you know, somebody has set this interview or not interview up, but like consultation up. One person has, but the people you're speaking to are like higher up than them, and they're like, it's a really cool room. What do you do? It's like, I'm gaming. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Like, and they don't understand. They're like, oh, this is an amazing room, but what do you do? It's like, gaming. This is, I'm here to speak to you about, you know, a consultation about your guys' interaction with the gaming community. What do you think I do? So, yeah, like you find that, but I find a weird experience, I think, with it, generally over the time. But yeah, I think it's more of the case of I think more of a being female type of thing, where they're like, or being a woman, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're definitely somebody that's, you know, I can now look at it in a different light. So they see me in a different way, even though, like, I've definitely say along the lines of what Given does, where like, obviously you're quite fake before that you're saying. I sort of felt the same, where I kept everybody at arm's length. And, you know, they knew I was into gaming, but they didn't know how much, and they didn't know, like, what the, you know, how much of a nerd I type of was. So I kept them at arm's length. And then when they see this other side of me, they're like, oh, do you know what? I think I'm going to treat you differently. And it was like, oh, no. So I've definitely had a weird experience. I think I've had to put them at arm's length even further now, where I just, like, I have Facebook type of thing where I keep it there, but I don't speak to any of them. Nothing is posted. It is completely blank. I don't speak to any of them. Like, not, and if one of them messaged me saying, hi, how you doing? I'll be like, nope, not going there. I know exactly where this is going to go in that line. But yeah, I think it's like when they get to that stage, because they haven't asked me, most of them haven't asked me for advice, bar like 3 or 4, where they've been like, you know, oh, I see you stream, how do you do that? And I'll be like, YouTube it, go install OBS, all that stuff, that's how you do it, and just lend them like a YouTube video, because if I try and explain it, they'll be like, can you set it up for me?
Okay.
And I
You know,
find
what about
one
the
guy,
intricacies of
Yes.
my audio on 2 PC? Oh, fuck off, mate. I'm not touching that. Just
Yeah.
no. It's just no.
I had a
To be
guy I
fair,
used to
I
work with
still
ask for
wouldn't be
that
able
as
to
well.
help anyone. Lucy, how do you do audio? I don't know. You tell me. Like, some days it works, some days it doesn't. I don't know.
Just pixie dust and hope for the best. It's just absolutely just.
I have a friend I used to work with, an old capture card we had when we were, before we were moving to where we live now. It's in the middle of nowhere. And he was like, yeah, so I don't understand how you set this up, because like it's not showing up my OBS. And I was like, I can't go over to your house, man. I can't go over to your house type of thing. But yeah, I find like it's an in-between. It's like some people love it, but don't understand it. And I think the other thing is all my neighbors know that I stream where I live. They're very, very sweet and kind about it. And they're like, Mike, you know, there's one that's a taxi driver, and he will say to people, yeah, my neighbor's a gamer. Yeah, and anytime it brings up about their kids, they're like, oh, my neighbor's a gamer. And he's so proud that he has that little connection. So I have a very mixed reception of some people are really, really sweet about it, and they're so happy. And then other people are like, oh, I can speak to this person different light. So it's like, it's an in-between, I think. It's very interesting. But we'll move on to the next one, because I think everybody's answered that. Funniest Irish stereotype. Gibson, would you like to Gibbon, would you like to go first? God, my voice is gone.
Stereotype? Oh, like a leprechaun or something.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
I mean, there you go. I mean, an alcoholic, maybe an Irish alcoholic. There's one as well. It's so funny because like when I lived in America, and I used to live out in Kentucky, and whenever, like, Kentucky is a place where you'd find it very, very rare to find an Irish person. So whenever I like bumped into someone, they were like, you're from Ireland. It's like, you like drinking? No, I don't mind. I love drinking, Joe. That's the thing. But I'd be like, no, I hate drinking. Like, I hate it so much. It's destroyed my family. Like, how dare you? Just put him on the spot. But no, I think the pot of golds, rainbows, leprechaun, Guinness, whiskey, Jameson, fucking, what else is there?
Top of the morning. Heidi's not get
Oh.
that one. I thought that'd be
Oh,
first. DB,
I don't
you
get
must
that
get
one
that
at
all
all.
the time. You don't
That,
get that
yeah,
one.
no,
DB
chat
must.
trolls me with that all the time. Every time I stream, top of the morning, TD, and I'm like, stop,
Yeah.
please. I know.
Blame Jacksepticeye for that.
Yeah,
though.
I was gonna say I have a lot of respect for the man, but he has literally implemented that into every American's head that we say that. We don't. Honestly, we don't. I think if you said that to any Irish person, they'd slap the head off you.
Yeah,
I actually love Irish stereotypes because some of them are so true though. Like I always say, like people are like, "Oh, it's stereotypical like big Irish family," and I have 7 siblings, and immediately everyone's like, "Oh, so it's true," and I was like, "Well, I mean, yeah, that one," and then, "Oh, so you eat a lot of potatoes?" Well, yeah, that one's true as well. And what about bread? Yeah, so that one's true as well. So I feel like I just kind of, and also the pale white as well. So I feel like I just stick with every single one. But it's more funny how people react to those things. So it's like when I say I come from a big family, it's immediately like, "Oh, are they all to the same parents?" And I'm like, what kind of question is that to even ask? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's immediately like all those stereotypes are brought up, and then if you confirm them, they're like, "Okay, everything I've ever learned about any Irish person is true," and you're like, "Right, you do you." And then people's minds were blown whenever you'd bring up about the Tato theme park that used to be a thing, and they'd be like, "A whole
Yes.
theme park about Tato," and I was like, "Yeah."
National institution, people.
The
come
only
on.
one. It's
Yeah.
not Tato Park anymore. It's Emerald.
City,
Oh,
isn't it, or
yeah.
something, or Isle or something?
I've never been
Is
there.
it?
We must get there
No,
soon.
never done it. Never
No.
done it.
All right, go. We need
Actually,
a
the weather's
content
always
creator day
brutal
out.
for it.
There's
Yeah.
animals there though. It was great.
Mm.
It's all right. It's pretty decent. It's not. Have you ever been to M&D Scotland? Any of you been to that? None of yous.
No.
There's like day trips from Belfast and Dublin to it. I'm surprised, but that is dodgy as hell, guys. Don't ever go there, man.
Wow.
So Tato Park is actually really freaking good. Compared, like it's really like there's a lot of rides, a lot of roller coasters. They all look very safe, but you go on one of the M&Ds, right? You might die. Like it's rickety and stuff like that. So,
Jeez.
like all I'm saying is like Tato
You
Park,
get
which
free
is Emerald's
Tato
good.
though. If there's
You
free
do.
packs of Tato, okay,
They
well
give you
then
them at
yeah.
the end.
I'm sold. I'm
It
sold.
used to be Tato on a stick,
Yeah.
so you'd literally get a wooden stick with a potato like swirled around it, and it would
That's
have like
sick.
the flavoring on it. It was great.
Wow. Jeez.
That's epic.
I've blown your minds now. That's it.
Although there's also like you can go to the crisp factory itself and you can get like crisps off the line. They're so good, right? An onion ring straight off the line. Oh my god, they're so nice.
Funny that
Oh,
I've
but
never been
isn't
to
that the
that
same?
one.
Yeah, up in the north, you have a different Tato compared to us.
It's so much better.
I keep
Well, yeah,
hearing
we would
this.
say that,
I don't
but I
know any
agree.
difference.
What's the
It's
difference?
the Tato in Northern Ireland is a lot thinner. Listen, I've done my analysis.
What?
Don't
Is
you worry
it?
about Yeah, so the Tato down south is more like Walkers than Tato up here.
Nah.
Yes,
you're saying
it
they
is.
have-
It's
you're
so
saying
much
that they have-
bigger down
Oh,
south.
Round wrong
no.
crisps there.
You're saying that the Republic of Ireland has the English crisps and we have the original. Okay, I see what this is. I see what's happening
No,
here. You guys
no.
have an
Hang
international
on now.
Tato
incident
down
here.
south is more.
Controversial.
Jeez.
There's an international incident brewing right now.
Everyone in
But-
chat's gonna hate me after this.
No, but
Okay.
the funny thing is, we actually did like in college. We did a case study on this because we had to do law,
Of course. it
and
is.
it's hilarious because I think they were brothers, weren't they? And
Yeah,
like
they're
one
relatives.
of them, yeah, they were relatives. It was like a little and Aldi type of an ordeal,
Yes.
but they are the same ingredients down to a T. Everything is the exact same, bar the packaging. That's all.
Oh.
The
That's
crisps are
that's.
actually different though.
I'll have to get a
I
packet
think
of
it's the
crisps.
Yeah,
thickness.
same.
they're
Mine is
called, though. I
fine
don't
though.
think it's the taste. I think it's the thickness of them.
Do you know what we should have done, guys? We should have made.
Yeah, we'd have to
Yeah.
get someone to
prepared
send
for
some to
this.
my
Dude,
people.
just
Yeah.
like
All
the
that.
prawn
I'm really
cocktail, we'll
curious
see,
now.
right?
Yeah.
Say, we'll send some down for you guys. It's
This is
all
the
right.
most Irish conversation ever, by the way. We're arguing about Tato crisps, for Christ's sake.
We're fitting into the stereotype.
There is another product that is different. You ever seen? Has everybody had Cadbury's Irish versus UK?
No? What?
What?
Wait,
you don't
there's
know
a
this?
difference, is there?
No.
There is.
no.
There fucking
Oh.
is. There's a huge difference between the taste of them. So Cadbury's is like in Australia, US, Canada, UK, and Ireland, right? And this is my biggest pet peeve, right? The Ireland one is the best, right? I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why, but it's freaking great, and they're different. So the Irish one is like the old, squares, the original squares, and the UK one is bubbled, and the Northern Ireland one is bubbled as well. It's the same thing. They're both from Birmingham, but Birmingham versus Dublin, the Irish one is extremely good. And when you go into shops over here, it's specifically sold for like Cheapo and Lassie. It's sold at the Spar shops. And you'll go in and you'll be like, it says Irish Cadbury's, and it's like 30p more, but it's 10 times better. And you're like, it's exactly like what it was when you were a child. And I don't know why. Like, I'm like, why is there a difference? But it's nearly always sold out. You go in, you trying to get some, you might be lucky if you get one in a box. Whereas the UK one, there's loads of it, like just like full on box.
Nobody
wants it.
Yeah,
but
but
as soon
we're
as they
doing-
know, they don't want it.
The UK ones are
But I
the
think-
classic shrinking the amount of chocolate in
Yes.
the pack, and they're getting thinner every year and all that
Yeah.
stuff
But
as
it was
well, isn't
also
it?
bought by an American company. I think Hershey's bought it over, which is why
Yes,
the
it
taste
did.
is now not as good.
Can we all agree that Hershey's is absolute trash, though? It's just
Yeah, I
like
never
eating
liked it.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I never liked
horrible.
it.
Yeah, no, I don't like Hershey's either. So I think like we can agree with the Cadbury's thing. You two need to go and get some. That's it. You just need to get some. Have you tried it, Gibbon and DB? Have you noticed?
Never.
Ever heard of it? No.
I didn't know there was a different one,
Did?
to be honest. I only know
Oh.
the one that's in Ireland. That's the only one I know.
I didn't know
do
there was
get
one,
it.
to be fair either.
Yeah, you
I
guys
wouldn't
do
be mad for
get it.
Cadbury's either. I don't know. Cadbury's. I feel like it's just a mediocre chocolate flavor. Now my girlfriend absolutely she craves over it, but I'm just not a big fan of it now. I wouldn't be a huge chocolate fan. I'm more into jellies.
Same. I love jellies.
Yeah,
Kryptonite.
jellies.
Jellies.
Yeah, jellies are just amazing.
I
So
love
you
that
get
you
any
call
sort
them
of flavor.
jellies. I've never heard them be called that
No,
before.
never in my
That's what
life
we
have I
call
heard
them jellies,
anybody
yeah.
call them jellies.
Gummies.
No.
What are they
Gummies.
called?
Gummies.
Like gummy
No.
Gummies.
Gummy
Ah,
sweets,
Jesus,
yeah.
what?
Sweet.
I've
go
heard
to
Is
this
this
shop
an
and buy
Irish
a packet of
podcast or what?
Disappointment of all.
Gummy and jellies, yeah.
Gummy,
called
gummies.
Well, jelly
Yeah.
babies
What?
are jellies.
There's gummy
Yeah.
bears.
What do they call? What do they call jellies in America?
Candy or something.
Candy?
No,
Yeah,
no, 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 no.
Breakfast. Breakfast.
Candy is just breakfast. Candy is just candy. But there's definitely
Jellies,
it
they said.
Gummies.
jellies,
Gummies, jellies,
Gummies.
gummies.
Everyone
Oh.
said
gummies.
Oh man, there's a debate going on here now.
Oh god,
Gummy-
like gummy
gummy
bears.
bears?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot
there's
of my
gummy
peers
Yeah, there's
bears.
are.
gummy bears, but then
Yeah,
there's
we know
jelly.
them, but there's
Hold
jellies.
on. Well, what are you calling what are you calling jellies though? You're
I
not
think you
calling
think of a
gummy
jelly
bears
and
jellies?
jam.
Well,
it's
if gummy
jellies
bears
too.
are in a variety pack of jellies, you just call them jellies.
People also call them
Yeah.
just Haribo.
Just
You'll
call
have
them
people
sweet.
say
Yeah,
it's
there's
one a
a
Haribo,
Haribo.
and it's not a Haribo. It's just a gummy. But
Yeah, because you know if you get the Haribo bears, it says gummy bears on them. But if you get the pick and mix or whatever they're called Haribo jellies.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
jellies.
I think you just call them pick and mix, right?
Google
like it's like
Google-
a classic. Is it a can of
Oh,
soda and a can of
Haribo
pop? You know?
jellies.
We gotta look this up now.
They're just
Oh
called
god.
sweets.
No, I think
Star
it's called
Mix,
Haribo
Haribo.
Star
Yeah,
Mix. or
jelly
something.
jelly babies. There's one.
That's different.
Yeah, well, jelly
though.
babies, jelly. Well,
Jelly,
oh, I don't know.
jelly beans, jelly babies, gold bears, jelly bears. There's so many jellies. I
This
don't
reminds
see.
me.
Yeah, they're jellies.
So many
There
lists.
was a
too.
BBC article years ago about something like this where they did this like language experiment across the UK and Ireland, and it was like basically there's a line you can draw halfway between the islands, like left to right essentially, as to where you call it a bread roll and where you call it a bread bap. Right, and this is the same with soda and pop, and now I guess it's jellies and gummies as well. I didn't know this one. This one's new because
Wait,
to
don't-
me,
Like, do you
I
say
call it a bap
it's a bap.
before anyone gets
It's
into
a
it.
bap.
A
Yeah.
bap's a bap, a roll's a roll.
Bab's
They're
a
different
Bab's a
things.
bap.
Then there's like finger
Yeah,
rolls
bap and a
as
roll are
well.
different. Yeah.
They're completely
Yeah.
A roll
different.
is totally different. A roll is a baguette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yes.
And
Like
a
a
bap
ball
is
of
like
babs.
a
Yeah, I
bun.
agree
Just
with
wait,
that.
hold on a sec now.
Burger
Hold
bun.
on a
That's
minute.
the same thing now. Come on now.
It's like a hot, like
Way
a,
over
like
that.
a hot
The
dog.
Scottish
Fizzy.
ruin the whole thing because to them a sausage isn't a sausage. Their sausage is flat. They have
Oh,
flat
it's square.
sausages. Yeah, it's just flat. So if I ask for a sausage in a Scottish cafe, I'm getting a
Well,
flat
that's
piece of
vegan.
meat. But they're just on a whole different
And
level.
what do you call fizzy drinks?
Oh, that one depends where you're from. You get
I just
soda,
call
or
whatever
you
the
get
name is,
pop,
though.
or you give me a Coke, even though it's not a Coke. They'll just be, give me a can of Coke.
You say pop.
I don't say
I don't
pop.
say pop.
But I know
I
people
don't
that
say
do
pop.
say pop. Yeah.
Oh my! Don't
No.
tell me you say
Fizzy?
soda.
No,
Say
I don't
fizzy.
say.
Okay, good.
If I want
Fizzy,
Coke, I'll
you'll
say
get
Fab
fizzy as
Coke.
well.
I think we just say a
Fizzy.
can. Can I just get a can?
Can of Coke, yeah. Can of
A
orange.
can of
Yeah,
Coke.
can
Can of Fanta.
A can of
Then there's
Fanta.
the
Can of
debate
Coke.
about tin as well. Can I get a tin of Coke? And every
I've-
time
yeah,
I
I've
said
heard
tin when it's not,
tins,
it's
heard
tin.
tins, yeah.
I put this, some people said tinnies, yeah.
Tins, cans. Man, I'm learning a lot today.
Jellies or jellies? We're just gonna leave it at that. Jellies or
We'll let you have
jellies.
that one.
And, do you know what? I agree. Jellies or jelly babies and jelly beans or jellies. Gummies
Yeah.
would be gummy bears or
Mhm.
anything like gummy bears. Yeah, it's in between. I think.
Fantastics.
What about
Oh, yeah, they're
Starbucks? though? I'm just
SARS.
going to call them
They're
Starbucks.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Stars.
it's like
Yeah.
the drinks. Like, if I want to pick a club, I'll say, can I have like a tin of club or whatever. I'm not going to say, can I have pop or soda? Because,
Can I have a pop?
yeah, it's so American.
Very
Yeah, it's
Americanized.
not
It's very Americanized. You
Uh,
can have a lot of fun with Americans when you
and you
use
can.
your
Oh, I love
yeah.
taking the piss out of them. I love it.
Yeah, there's one of them in chat right now, and I can see him because he's coming to my wedding, and I've been telling him that he needs to learn to river dance because that's cultural. What he
Mhm.
needs to do at this way, you need to know how to river dance, and you need to know all the words of Rathenbog. You need to know them all.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. And he thinks I'm lying, but I'm 100%.
No,
telling you, if
Rattenbog
you
is
don't,
definitely, yeah.
you'll
Ratten
get kicked
what?
out.
Oh, yeah, the bush.
Oh, the rattling bog.
Yeah.
Oh, the rattling ball.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
even know rock the boat as well, though.
Yeah, right, boat.
Dude, what is that? I don't know what that is, Jibo.
You don't know
Rattling
what it
what?
is? Oh,
No.
Rathenbog. It's like
You don't know what
guess
rattling bog is?
it's almost
No.
like
Rattling
I don't want to
Bog,
say a
Bog down in the
drinking
valley.
song. Yeah, and it goes on and on forever. And
Oh,
it,
sure, the rattling bog.
Oh, in the valley, oh,
The valley, oh, another
I
one.
love that it's just
yeah, and it goes on and on and on and on and on.
I've never heard
That's
this.
crazy.
Yeah, it's
Ah, you
cracking.
have.
It's like it's just a
Ah,
drinking
yeah.
song essentially.
Yeah, you've definitely
I-
heard it at least once.
Maybe unless I was very drunk and I didn't realize, but I haven't heard that one. That's an interesting one. Yeah. Oh my god. How did we get to this?
Stereotypes.
Stereotypes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's holy shit. Yeah. Well, we sort of broke one stereotype, which is we're all ginger, because none of us are ginger, right?
No,
No.
I get it a lot, but I'm not.
Yeah. I get a
Adamant.
lot too.
Adamant.
Yeah. 3 of my siblings are ginger, and I'm not. So it's a bit of a controversial one, I think.
Have you ever? This was introduced to me only a couple of years ago by a friend of mine from the deepest, darkest boonies of Fermanagh, believe it or not. But he told me about this Sean Connery movie called Darby O'Gill and the Little People. It's a
I
Disney
love that movie.
Oh my god, it has every stereotype
It does,
you could
it does.
possibly imagine.
It does,
And
it's so
nobody
good.
here seems to know about this movie.
never
It
heard
is
of it, no.
I've never
it's
heard
from
of
like
this,
the
no.
Oh, it's a
1950s.
classic,
anything.
man.
It is it's Sean Connery
When
as
he
a
was young,
leprechaun,
like, super
essentially.
young.
Yeah,
Oh,
with
God.
the worst Irish accent you've ever heard in your
Oh,
life.
Sean
And it
Connery's
is
not a leprechaun. No, he finds
he
a
not?
leprechaun. He catches
that's
one.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Catches a leprechaun?
It's
It's enemies with a
fantastic.
leprechaun. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. It's a must watch. I'm telling you.
Oh,
Do
it's-
you
it's
remember
good
that
crack.
movie, the American movie of the lad who basketball, and he had a grandfather who was Irish, and the grandfather was a leprechaun. It was a Disney movie, and then the grandfather sprinkled a bit of fairy dust on top of his grandson, and then he anytime he was on the court, he would get like spiky ears and ginger hair, and he was just
Never heard
amazing
of
at
this
basketball.
Are you sure this
Look-
isn't
look
just
at the
like you
Irish.
relive in your past life or
Larry
something?
Of the Irish.
No. Look it up there. It was a Disney movie that used to be on Disney back in the day, back in the early 2000s, of an Irish grandfather who gave pixie dust or some sort of sparkling dust or something like that for his grandson, who became like a champion in basketball. But he was a leprechaun.
This makes perfect sense because, as we all know, being on the island, leprechauns are fantastic basketball players. So that does track. I can
Yeah.
totally see. That's not a leap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Luck of the Irish, it was called.
The lovely
2001?
Irish. Yeah.
I love
2001.
those people. Yeah.
It
Uh,
was. Oh my god, that looks like an awful film.
Oh,
I
it's
don't
terrible.
watch any
On the
movies or
list,
TV,
though.
so I'm
It's on the
useless.
list.
It's on the list of we probably need to watch just to cringe at it.
Have you heard
Oh,
of
definitely.
Have you heard of Fatal Deviation? This is a brilliant movie. Nobody knows. It's basically an Irish kung fu movie that they made in the 90s, and it is
Oh god.
atrocious. But it's kind of got one of those cult followings because it's one of the worst movies ever made, and it's so bad that it's good. It's kind of like Jackie Chan, Drunken Master. You know, he is really
Yeah,
good at
yeah,
kung
yeah.
fu when he's drunk. Only it's a load of Irish lads.
Oh, that
Brilliant.
sounds like the War of the
Absolutely
Buttons.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's set in Trim, Meath.
Wow.
Oh no, not Meath.
I have to say now,
Christ.
like with Irish movies, there's actually quite a lot of amazing Irish movies out there.
Yeah.
That aren't stereotypical at all. They're just banger flicks. War of the
Oh.
Buttons, the wind that shakes the barley.
No, I
Intermission.
it might be a Northern Irish thing, but when I hear a Northern Irish accent, if it's not Liam Neeson being a badass, fair enough. It's just all right. We've got a terrorist here. It's like it's the
well,
cliche, isn't it?
I have
though?
something to say on that. Have you ever
Oh,
watched Rebel
God.
Moon? Have you watched Rebel Moon yet?
Yes.
Yes.
I watched it.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
no.
Yeah,
You-
what's
you
his
know
name?
exactly
Sons
what
of
I'm gonna
Anarchy.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
No, there's even more than that, though. Have you noticed all the bad guys in it are Irish or English?
But that's always the same though, isn't it?
I no, it's never been the Irish people are bad guys normally. This is really rare. The Northern Irish and Irish are bad guys in it. The very end scene, the big bad guy is Northern Irish. But the actor you said about Sons of Anarchy, him, he puts on an Irish accent. He's not from here, but and then there's another
Totally.
person who's also a bad guy. He's Irish.
I was very dazed during that movie because it was so bad.
So
It was fucking awful.
It's one of the
Yeah.
worst things I've ever seen in my life.
It was awfully
like I'm-
bad.
I've watched Darby
Stay
O'Gill.
away from it. So
Oh,
Stay away from it. Definitely waste time.
it's
I
very
always get like
weird.
so lost in these conversations because I literally don't watch anything.
Oh,
I
yeah.
genuinely have the attention span of a small mouse, and I cannot keep attention for more than 5 minutes. So immediately, like, we've got a command in my chat that has Lucy seen, and it's like a percentage from 0 to 10 because I haven't seen anything. It's like a running joke
Oh.
at this point.
You said you're neurodiverse as well. ADHD?
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a meme
So
that
once
I
like, have you
forget
seen this?
everything.
And I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
I saw the
Same.
Barney movie when it came out in cinemas, and I was like 2, so that's the only thing I've ever seen.
Can't be anybody Irish in the Barbie movie because that would be exceptionally
No,
out
not
of
the
place,
Barbie,
surely.
the Barney.
Barney.
Oh god,
Barney
okay.
Dinosaur.
Yeah.
That one, yeah. No, I think a lot of the films that came out, like Irish wise, there's a lot of really decent ones. You've said War of the Buttons. I think that's the one that I definitely agree. It's just too good. It's too freaking good. But as Irish films go, I don't know too many. But we have a lot of really big actors now.
Definitely punch above our weight when it comes to actors and actresses, I think. For
Yes.
sure.
Dornan,
Murphy.
Hubba
Cillian
Hubba.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a
Murphy,
really
speaking
good
of
year this year.
poor Killian, he kept getting asked was he British or English.
Oh, yeah,
Have you
no,
seen it?
Jesus.
Actually, yeah.
Poor guy,
Fucking
he
hell.
was so angry. He was so. He's
I
like,
don't blame him.
No,
Quite
It's
interesting, though.
ridiculous. It's
Like, you're
ridiculous.
from the UK. No, I'm from Ireland. No, yeah,
Yeah.
same thing. No.
But that's like
No.
Sure, I did my content around that for 2 years, and it baffles me the amount of people that think Ireland and the UK are the same. It just baffles me.
But
And
it's
so
like,
I just, yeah.
It's quite interesting him though because he has no social media presence. I didn't know this about him until recently. He
No.
doesn't have any at all. And I think even his kids, he's not allowed them to have any sort of. He's like really old school. He's like, don't have it, don't look at it, do my thing, go home to my family.
He's
It's like,
super humble. He stays out
Yeah.
of the way as much as he can.
Yeah,
Probably
he
the
does.
best way to do it. To be fair.
yeah, when you're that big, just
And then
Yeah.
he
leave
keeps
it.
getting called British. I completely understand. You
Yeah,
know? It's
yeah.
like if he was from Northern Ireland, I get it a little bit because we get both. Where we get called both type of thing. We're in a bit of a that stalemate with it, where you can either be one or the other, or you can be both. It's up to the person depending on what way you sort of go. But he's not. He is from the south, so it's a bit of a kick in the shin, I think, for him. So yeah, no, I get it. But he's done really well. He won an Oscar, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Best actor.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very a lot of
The
the
Oscar he
whole
won. Yeah.
calling
The
Irish
one.
people British is very the American because they're not like they don't know. It's not so much of a they choose to do it. It's more of like they're ignorant in that aspect. Like I don't know if it's the geography's not well taught over there, but
At
like
all.
Noah Cahan put Dublin, England or Dublin, UK on his like tour poster, and everyone was up and outroar about it, and he had to like put a formal apology out saying, "I'm really sorry. Like I didn't realize I'll make it up to you," because he didn't put Dublin, IE, and like that was the whole thing as well. And it's like I think that it was just that it wasn't checked, or people don't know like the whole history and stuff behind it, and like the fact that even if without the history, it's just a different country. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
it should be simple, although I do flip it on its head a little bit. Like, I couldn't really tell you about some random city. What's the capital state of Arkansas. Shit.
No.
Or the capital,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, so I kind of give the Americans a bit of a pass, sort of. I usually give them a hard time, but on that one, I can give them some sort of a pass.
Yeah.
Not people.
Well,
answer
I
it.
give him a terrible time.
Yeah.
I give him a terrible time.
From
Straight
Europe,
up.
from Europe in any way, shape, or form, no, you're fair game. You should know better. Come on.
I think the best thing was, so we have like Irish descendant relatives that went to America. Basically, like my grand's sister went to the US, so they're like third cousins, fourth cousins, or something. I don't know. Anyway, there's something like that. But they come over every 2 years, and they come over and they tour like Ireland, and they've been doing this since like 2006 or 7. The first year we met them, they basically came over and they brought to Northern Ireland, they brought euros, and they were very confused
Classic.
because they came straight from America to Belfast airport, and they flew in, and they were very confused. They were like, I don't understand, why can't I buy anything? And I was like, technically we're different, and you're, you know, I had to explain the whole situation, my mum, to them, and they were like, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense to us. Like, why would this be a thing? And yeah, we had to explain to them, okay, you need 2 different currencies, especially when you go down south. And when you get to Newry, you'll be able to use both currencies anyway.
Oh God,
And-
you're right.
Oh,
Stop talking about Yuri.
that I know, and it's so weird to them. And then when we went over to the US, and what happened was that, because obviously in regards to them, they have done really well. They're very wealthy type of Irish Americans, so they've done really well. They took us to a yacht club, and we were in tourist gear and all this stuff. Like, they took us around, me and my mum, and started showing us off and be like, these are our Irish descendants and all this stuff. And I'd never been like sort of embarrassed at the same time as being like, thanks, but I'm in tourist, you know, like tourist stuff, and these people are all in like a yacht club in suits and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Ireland, Northern Ireland, and not a single one of them knew what it was or what the difference was. They're like, oh yeah, I've heard it rains a lot over there. I'm like, yeah,
That's
yeah, you're right.
universal, yeah.
Yeah. So it is good fun that way. But yeah, I gotta say, I think most of us have a main US audience. I think US, UK.
Mine's changed a bit over the last month because of the front page thing, but it's
Yes.
now more UK, but usually it's mostly American. But then, like, weirdly German as well. And I'm like, I don't really know where that come from, but
Germans and Swedes and Germans and Scandies would be the biggest European market, I think, in terms of viewership, and then US for sure.
Yeah,
It's-
Twitch
it's-
Twitch is huge in Germany. And Spain as well. Like, it's massive. I was even tempted to just try and learn a bit of German again, just to bring in an audience, but because I did it for 5 years in college or in secondary school. So I was like, maybe I should do that.
You should go to Oktoberfest and do a live stream from a tent. That's a cultural mold
yeah.
right there that I
You
think
have
would
better
be great.
internet.
Yeah, you get better internet.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, you have better internet. The other thing I was going to ask, it's not on the questions because we sort of went through them pretty quickly. We sort of like went through 6 or 7 in one go, which is very rare for this podcast. But I would say, in regards to where I was going with this, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this without. But so obviously we've done the whole like explain things, the content creator, how that works. Oh, I've lost my question. I've literally done the worst ADHD thing ever. I've lost my freaking question that I was going to ask. Okay, yeah. So we all sort of grew up in Ireland. Who speaks Irish here? Do either use any is or?
I know very
I did.
little.
But I was pulled out because my dyslexia, and I was put into German. Like, it was just one big huge meme when I was yeah, stupid. Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. So no, I was pretty decent at Irish. I just didn't want to do it because in Ireland it's kind of like forced on us rather than
Yeah, it is.
you know, it was a weird one because now I would have loved to have been able to speak it fluently because I'm over in the southwest, and you know, there's a few counties, there's a few islands that speak it fluently. So I would have loved to have known a bit of it, but they literally said to me, it's like, no, Ed, you're dyslexic, you gotta pull you out there because it's going to get a lot harder for you. We're gonna put you into German. I was like, but I've been learning Irish for 5 years. You want me to take me out and put me into German? And they're like, yeah. So then I had to start German from the very start, and German is the exact same as Irish, like pretty much the exact same, just a different pronunciations and stuff here and there. I think this doesn't make any sense at all. So it's a pity that is kind of forcing us in Ireland. But sure, look, it is what it is.
Why do
I
you
always
learn
hated that
German?
about.
Mm.
I always hated that about school, where you had to learn an extra language. Because, like, for me, I had to learn Spanish. We started off with French, then Spanish, and I was like, I would have loved to have been able to pick sign language instead. And I think that should be
Oh,
like
yeah.
a across the board thing where you do
Should
have
be.
to learn sign language
Yeah.
because I mean, so much more inclusive and it's so much more useful for the context that we live in as well, rather than, you know, learning a language for a country that I've never even been to and never even like really met anyone from there. So it's like, yeah, I just think it's so silly.
Yeah, I think for us, we learned Irish and French, and people only picked French to see if they can go to the French school trip. Paris.
What?
Nobody
Solid.
wanted. I know. That's the only reason why people wanted to pick French, and then other than that, people would have picked Irish, but German and Spanish would have been for German school. Not German schools. Grammar schools got those two as like optional extras, and also Japanese. So my little brothers got
Japanese
to
I did that.
learn this.
Amazing. Japanese would be
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, I did
that'd
that.
be great. That'd be
Was
great.
on my
shit
bucket
out of
list.
mind, but
I would have loved to have learned Irish.
I feel like we're pretty
properly.
good as a people, you know, with the way we speak, and we can say words like "shach," right? We take that for granted. English people can't wrap their face around words like that. There's sounds that they can't make. So for us, I always find German quite easy compared to other, you know, like there's certain languages that you can pick up. I learned more German in 2 years than I did in French in 5. Like it's
Wow.
yeah. Although I
Mhm.
can't speak either now, but we'll pretend that bit's fine.
I can barely speak English, so there's no point.
Yeah. Well, that's the
you know.
thing. I say that all the time. I'm like, I'm Northern Irish. We barely speak English, so.
There is a difference between South and North accent wise. Like, for example, we say "mer" wrong. I don't know. DB Gibbon? Mer.
Mirror?
We say "mer" as well, yeah.
Yeah,
M
mirror.
R R R R
what
R.
about if you
right?
have no money?
Mirror.
What would you say that you are?
Broke.
Skint.
No, with the
Skin.
pay. It starts with the pay.
What?
Per. Like your
Oh.
per, you've got
Per.
no money.
Oh, poor.
Poor.
See, I say per, I'm per, I've got no money.
Per.
Yeah,
no,
but-
no.
Oh,
Poor.
yeah.
Poor.
No,
After
poor.
this, I'm
Jeans.
gonna go and have I'm gonna get, you know, nice and clean in the power shower. That's the classic Belfast one, in a power shower.
Yeah, I don't say a power
Oil
shower
as
either. I say
well.
power shower.
Power shower.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of very mixed. This is a mix. Well, hold
I
on.
say power.
33 for the 33.
Oh well, okay.
Who's
I
that?
can see that.
I waited
I
you
mean,
two.
see, that's the thing, because I find it so hard to say that, because anytime I do, everyone's like, "I give you 5 subs if you just say it." I'm just
Oh,
like,
is that why?
I we did it for
Sell
five
out,
bucks.
just sell out straight away for the
Yeah.
subs.
3,333.
I love
There
this
you
though. I
go.
think that is like I know it sounds so silly, but there's something so comforting about the Irish accent. Not Northern Irish, it's shit, but the Southern Irish accent is just so good. I love it. I don't know what it is. I could listen to
I
it all
hate
day.
it. I can't stand it.
We're
It's
all very
very, I don't know, it's very
self-deprecating
culty. It's
anyway.
very boggy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
it
just.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
but-
think. But don't we all have in this group anyway? We all have dull down accents. It's not exactly the full on.
Yeah, but I
Accents.
feel like when you create content in your stream, you start speaking a lot more clearer. I
You
guess.
have to.
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
have to. but to
Clear.
an extent. Yeah, well,
Clear, yeah,
clear
yeah.
or whatever. You have to because majority of people need to understand you, so you
Yeah.
retain viewership in a sense. But yeah, speaking obviously with more Irish people, you start to realize how boggerish you actually do sound. You know.
As well as
Oh,
what we
yeah,
were
yeah.
saying before you all joined, when I was in doing my mic check, and Lassie, you jumped in, and I was like, my accent's gonna go to fuck here, because I get really mid-Atlantic when I'm streaming. People, and if I speak to like my family back home, they're like, you sound like a fucking American. Like it's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that sometimes too. Like you speak
Yeah,
like
or you
an
get
American.
called
Really
posh.
funny.
yeah,
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
posh,
All the
posh
time.
wanker, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
yeah,
was
you get
actually
called
going to
posh.
say, it's funny that you mentioned the American accent. I find that a lot of Northern Irish streamers in particular change their accent when they're streaming,
Mm.
like Ponto and O'Katy. Those two, I watched them and I didn't realize they were from here. And I was like, what is that accent? And then I realized, and I was like, oh my God, that's so funny how like different accents can get changed and how like much you have to change it in order to be understood.
Yes.
I don't. I just sound exactly the same as this. So my chat never have a chance. Like,
Yeah, you get there's definitely an aspect of you're from Belfast, but you sound like you're from Orange County,
Mm-hmm.
California. It's very strange.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, that is a really good point. I get called American all the time. I play a game called BattleBits. It's like a little FPS game.
great,
And the
yeah.
amount of times I have been called American is insane. It is a meme in my channel because there's clips of people saying, "Oh, whereabouts in the US are from you? Oh, you're a US person." Like, no, I am not. Like, definitely not. And then they're like, "Oh, I hear the Irish now. You got
I can
angry."
hear a bit of an American twang in you, though.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
can.
totally.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say there's a
It's
little.
massive.
There is a
Massively dull.
little bit of one. I feel like though,
Yeah.
if you're surrounded by a bunch of Americans, you're going to put on a bit of a twang regardless. I mean, when I was in Kentucky, I came back with a bastardized accent. It was crazy. I didn't know
How
if I
long
was
were you
here or there. Just under a year. But it got to a point where everyone was like, "What are you saying? What is he saying?" kind of thing. So I had to like kind of just bring it down a bit of a notch, and just try and fit in. But I still had a bit of a like a fodder at the end of it every sentence, I guess, just to keep it. But I don't know. Did you hear your one Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things?
yeah.
Yes.
Her accent is gone. It's crazy. It's just
She changed it. So if she's
but-
been interviewed by someone from England, her accent is really English, and if she's been interviewed by an American, it's amazingly American, and I'm like, that's crazy.
This Gillian
lame.
Anderson does the same, doesn't she? Because for me, I'm old enough to be like, oh,
Gillian.
she's from X Files, right, or whatever it is. And,
Oh, yeah.
and depending on, because she lives in London and spent like half her life in London, so depending on who she's being interviewed by, it's either full on American or very posh English.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that, but
No,
but it was the
not a
same with
clue.
what's your man's name? He was in Harry Potter.
Radcliffe.
No, Sirius Black. What's that actor's name again?
Oh,
He was also Winston Churchill in that movie.
Forgot his name now.
He played Winston Churchill in the movie Churchill.
Gary
He got an
Oldman,
Oscar.
everyone
Yeah,
says.
Gary
Gary
Oldman.
Oldman.
He was.
I
he
didn't
was
know
the-
that wasn't
Yeah.
me.
No, it was the same again because he had an American accent for about 3 years, and he went back to he's British, and he had to go and get therapy to try and bring it back to British. And he said he was terrified in case it was just going to go like that. And I'm
Austin
crazy.
Butler from the Elvis movie.
Can we not
but-
talk
there we
about
go.
him though? Because like, I have very strong opinions about this. It's
I
going
don't know
totally
that
off
really.
topic. That Masters of the Air. He's just Elvis getting shot down by the
Great show
Germans.
though. Great
No,
show.
I cheered on the
impression was
Germans when they
so
shot him
good.
down. That's how much I disliked his accent. I was like, can you not just be this one character for fuck's sake? I love Band of Brothers, so I had really high hopes for it, and it's just been-
Yeah. How you doing, bro? You're gonna hate
that
Dune
Did that
2,
as a wee
so
channel routine.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Oh dear.
I think there's so many people who change their accents, but like, I mean, with actors, they have no choice really. They have to do that depending on the role. But for
It's part of the
us,
gig,
I
isn't it?
think, yeah, we just do it to be more nice, right? I mean, yeah, I would say that. There's clips of me from like 9 years ago what people bring up every so often, and they'll be like, "Ro, I don't know what you just said there. I don't know what you freaking said in this clip." So like, yeah, no, I mean, I would say out of everybody here, I would say Gibbons is the strongest, and then DBs, and then maybe Jeepos after that.
I've been down at the family house this weekend, so it's pretty deep. It'll be give me like the Tuesday, and it'll be like that weird Mid-Atlantic thing again. It's gonna be bad.
But have you ever had people guess where you are, like where your
I
accent's
get
from?
asked it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's a Northern Irish thing. They ask, as I said earlier, they ask a lot because they want to pinpoint you and figure you
Yeah.
out. And I'm like, nope, I'm just from here.
But
That's it.
Gibbon and DB, you don't get that. They don't try and pinpoint what county or anything, or no?
Well, they go for the town.
yeah.
Oh, well, they for us.
I don't think so. It's more like they automatically presume from the west of Ireland because I think the
Oh.
west of Ireland is a very, very strong accent. I mean, Cork is the strongest, like in my opinion.
Yeah. absolutely,
You'll definitely tell who's a Cork streamer if you go into a Cork streamer. You know they're from Cork. Yeah, no, it doesn't really. I mean, with Irish people coming in, they just want to ask, "Oh, what county are you from?"
Yeah,
just
that's
to
it.
have
yeah,
something in
yeah.
common. You know,
Yeah.
if I, you know, it's like, "Oh, I'm from Clare." It's like, "Oh, Jesus, I'm from Clare too. I'm from Ennis," and I'm like, "Yeah, me too. I'm like,
Hmm.
what? And then it goes off in that. But no, it's never really like,
Yeah, we only have 6
Yes,
counties, so if you ask me that, I'm already giving you too much. So-
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
the,
yeah,
the
no,
easy
it's-
part
it's
is,
weird.
is County Down for here because County Down's the biggest, or or Antrim or Armagh. It's like one of the three. It's very small compared to the south, so it's a bit like, yeah, they try and guess the exact town and everything just based on the accent. And you're like, no, I can't give you that. I can't give you that
I was-
information.
I actually had someone come in on TikTok one day and they were like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to say where I'm from." And they were like, "Oh, well, I'm from Northern Ireland." And I was like, "That's not a real place." And they were like, "What do you mean?" And they argued with me for about 30 minutes about how Northern Ireland was a real place. And I was like, "Bessie's, I'm literally from there." Like, I don't, I need to know. They're like, "Well, I thought you were Australian." And I was like, "Where the fuck did you get Australian?"
How would you get Australian? Come on, man.
I have a question for you as well. Why don't you say where you're from?
Because I've had
curiosity.
issues with stalkers before, so I
Yeah.
just don't say straight away.
Oh, really?
Being a woman,
They'll
you
show
get
up at
all
your
these
door.
like weirdos coming into stream being like, "Oh, can I have your address?" And then I don't know if you have seen, but there's been people like sending air tags and stuff hidden inside gifts to people like streamers and stuff, and they like go to their
Get a
PO
PO
box.
box.
They bring it home,
Yeah.
and then the air tag's inside the like the cuddly toy or something, so you wouldn't be able to tell. And then people turn up to your house and stuff. So
That's
immediately I'm
messed
like,
up.
I just don't say. I say I'm from Northern Ireland, and that is it. I'm like, I don't want anyone turning up to my house. I don't want anyone figuring out where I'm from or anything. It's just, it's not worth it because as a woman, you just are more likely to get these
Yeah.
absolute weirdos
Yeah.
in.
For me, it's a different thing. It's a very Northern Irish kind of unique thing in the sense that like people in Northern Ireland try to figure out who you are, what clan you belong to, what way you vote. You know, you can pile things on top of things very quickly in Northern Ireland, so they just try and get that one little piece of information. So for me, it's just easier to be like, I'm just from Northern Ireland, and that's it. Very like, you're not getting anything else. You can have your guesses, but I'm never gonna tell you one way or the other because it's not a thing. It's like we're all on here having fun playing video games. Like that is
Yeah.
irrelevant information. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's just uniquely Northern Irish, unfortunately, but a lot less than it used to be. To be fair,
I
would
think it just
say.
depends on how the community reacts with you as well.
Yeah.
Because, like, again, we are in an in between. We're in iffy situation, so I think it's a bit different for South and North, of course. But for me, like, obviously, I'm from more the Irish side with an English partner, so everybody's like, when they come in, they'll try and figure that out a little bit. So it's a bit for them. It's like, what? So they
Oh, yeah,
try
the-
and. They try and ask, and I'm like, I'm not religious. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah.
I don't care, you know.
The classic,
But-
which
yeah.
football team do you support? Comment, you know.
I had
so,
to ban
for
all
fuck's
that
sake.
today because I was like, I'm gonna ban all those words just in case. But yeah, we're in a bit of a different situation, I think, from DB and Gibbon with that, where we're unfortunately unlucky at the same time as lucky with both. But also, I think the worst thing I've had is we used to have a guy who used to join. We used to do PUBG custom games, like 100 players joining, and we do something like, you know, it's a VIP event where you protect the VIP from one side to the other, like a very planned, organized event. We had a guy from who's 10 minutes away from me in real life, technically. That's how close he was. He was from one town over. And he kept causing trouble. He kept causing issues and stuff like that. And we were like, oh, here we go. Here we freaking go. Somebody from my own place, you know, causing trouble, you know, glitching into rocks and all this stuff while the developers were watching our stream. We were like, we can't have this. We got to ban him. So we banned him. We found out other things, like he was messaging all the women in the community and all this stuff. And I was like, no, not this again. And so anyway, we banned him and stuff like that. And I went to my hairdresser who was in the same town as him. And I said, oh, yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare recently. I had to ban somebody local. And she was like, what's his name? And I said his name. And she was like, I know who he is. And she brought him up on Facebook. Said, it's him, right? And I was like, it is. How do you know him? She said, she started telling me all these stories about this guy. And he has like 3 kids to 3 different women. And one of the women he pushed down the stairs. She was pregnant. And I was like, great.
What
That's
the fuck?
Of all the world
Beautiful.
viewers you could have
Bro.
had, you have this guy from next story.
Yeah,
Jeez,
10 minutes away.
shit.
So I think that's why we're so cautious, I think, with it, because like they are a bit intense. However, I've never really had too many from Southern Ireland. I've only had one. I've only had one who's been crazy from the south. So like, you know, it's not too bad out of the 20 or 30 from the north. Only one from the south, really. So it's not too bad.
We're just wild up here, apparently.
No, we're just not okay.
Gee,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're just not okay. But yeah, I think that's why they always try to find out the towns and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't give it away
No,
at all.
definitely
No, it's not
not.
worth
Well,
it.
I mean, like let's like don't be saying like where you are now, but like where you're from.
Here's my
Would you
postcode.
have Yeah, would like I mean like anytime someone asks me, it's like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Ennis, Clare. You know, it's I grew up in
Yeah.
Ennis from Clare, and I live in Limerick. I have no bother saying that at all because I don't know. It's just it's I feel like it's a conversational thing, but when it comes to like a soccer kind of a side, I had a strange fella like following me around like crazy at one of the Twitch cons.
Ooh.
Yeah, very very strange, but I was like, instead of being really freaked out about it, I made it my mission to annoy him. Do you know what I mean? So it was kind of
probably
like,
best, yeah.
yeah. So it got to a point where it was just like he wouldn't, like wherever I would go, he would always be there, just behind us watching. And then I went up to him. I was like, "So where are we going?" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "What are we doing?" Just, I don't know. He put me on the spot here. I was like, "Come on, let's do something. Come on, I'll follow you now. You go off." And it was just really awkward. And then he just got so awkward, he turned around and that was it. But then I found out who he was in the chat and he hasn't been in since. So I don't know, maybe, yeah, it's weird in that sense, I guess.
That's a very Irish way of doing it, Gibbon. That's a very
I
Irish way.
know.
It's the
Yeah.
correct way
I
to do
read
it.
it, but you see, I saw that, was it Robert Pattinson from Twilight?
Yes, I heard about this. Yeah.
He did it. And that's where I was like, I'm going to do the fucking same thing again and see if that works. And it worked. I was like, man's a genius. So yeah. It's like when you look at Pokemon and stuff and all that, it's just like, try it. But look, I mean, sometimes it can be content as well. And they can go off and they can kind of just post about it on Twitter and stuff. And then next thing it blows up and then they're on the scene again. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be just a different thing when it comes to Irish people and Americans. Americans can be tapped.
I think it depends, right? In regards to that a little bit, like you gotta really judge it on is it worth it trolling them back, or is it worth annoying them back, or should you just not bother? It depends, like, because they can be a bit weird on
they
it.
can.
Yeah,
Listen,
I just it
especially
depends
as
if my
women,
mods
though,
let
as
me.
well. I feel like I have a fair, like I do a wee bit troll back if someone's just being a bit weird and asking me like inappropriate questions. I'll be like, I'll just answer, like give them weird questions back. But if it was like actively someone trying to find out where I'm from, immediately I'm like, yeah, that's a solid boundary that you're not going to cross. So immediately
Yeah.
that's enough.
I think
Because sometimes it's more risky to like, you know, just say where you are, like, you know, try to do things, because then it just encourages them further. It's easier just to shut down the conversation and move on.
yeah, I
And talk
think
about something we
it's
can all agree
different.
on, like the rugby, you know, and winning the Six Nations.
I don't do sports.
Ah,
Like,
don't
yeah,
say it.
sports, right?
Rub it in.
Oh,
Beautiful. I love watching, you know, random men hit each other, you know, loads of freaking times. So the women's sports not too bad, but yeah, the guys' sports a bit boring at this point. I'm just getting bored of it. No offense to you guys and Gibbon, and take myself out of that conversation. But yeah, I think it just depends. I think Lossie, Gibbon, I started doing in between. Like, it depends if my mods will allow me to troll them back, because I will go full on ham on them. I'll just keep going. I'll just be like, yeah, you know, you're gonna leave this Twitch chat. I'm not gonna go anywhere. You're gonna leave. I'm gonna force you to leave. I'm gonna make you leave in such a way you will not do this again to anybody else, type of thing. But it can be a bit aggressive, but I think it is a very Irish thing to do, where I'm gonna take the piss out of you. You're not gonna do this again, man. Don't do this shit. But
Yeah.
I think the best thing is, it depends on what category you're in. If you play in Minecraft, you're going to get a lot of kids. But if you play an adult game and somebody comes in, you're like, you really should be doing this. You know, you shouldn't be saying the things you're doing. And the best one is that if I see somebody who's really just the dumbest comment ever, that's just like on the borderline of you should be banned on Twitch, you'd be like, does your family tree go all the way down? Does it go straight down? Nothing else? Doesn't branch out, does it? And then they just get either upset and they don't understand, or they just leave. It's like that's the end of it. You don't see them again. But I think we are always considered as very nice people, so they try and get away with things that they wouldn't in other channels. At least I find that quite often, where they won't do it to, like, you know, they won't go into a Scottish or an English person's channel. They go into an Irish person to be a bit cheeky, because they're like, oh, they're nice people, which is a bit of a stereotype. So I'll get away with this a little bit. So yeah, I find that quite often. What about YouTube, DB? Is it the same? Like, do you get a lot of like crappy comments, or is it like is everybody very positive? Like what are they?
You're never going to get 100% positive on
No.
YouTube. But I'm actually fortunate enough to get very little negativity on YouTube, I think, which is nice. But the negative comments always highlight the positive, because you immediately, as a creator, you want to see your content, being received really well and people liking it. When you get one person just shitting on it or whatever, it does stand out. I think when I was starting off, I was more responsive to those comments. Now I just completely ignore them, because I think it's the best way to do it anyway. Like it's the same with like live chat. You will get trolls in the chat, or backseaters telling you how to play a game, or telling you you're playing it wrong or whatever. Like I'm fortunate enough to have a really good mod team, so that stuff doesn't really meet my eyes. And if it does, I do give it back if necessary and shoot that shit down as quick as possible. But yeah, most of the time it is pretty positive, but there is going to be negative stuff there. But I don't dwell on it, because if you do and you start dwelling on it, it gets really difficult. Because, like I said, making content is something that you're proud of, and if people don't like it, it's very hard to accept negativity when it comes. But it is part of this whole gig, so you do have to accept the negative as well. And sometimes negative comments help, because it makes you progress and get better as well. Like feedback is feedback, but sometimes people are just assholes, just being assholes for the sake of it. So yeah, YouTube is definitely a different game when it comes to Twitch and stuff with negative stuff. But like I said, I'm fortunate enough not to get too much of that. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think as a whole, TikTok and also YouTube are quite positive compared. I think I think Twitch is getting there, but a bit slow for Ireland anyway. It's getting there, but I also think that it's a bit weird, because I've realized that the three Northern Irish people do mostly Twitch, and you guys do YouTube and TikTok, and Lassie, you do TikTok now as well. But yeah, there's a bit of a mixture there.
I'm just not down with the kids enough. I have to play catch up with TikTok. I'm so
getting
old.
there. I mean, I think we're all similar age.
I think so.
I'm 27, so I don't know.
Oh, you're a
21.
baby. You're the baby then, yeah.
Wait, hold on. Does anybody here not say their age normally?
What? Oh, you're asking our age?
Yeah. Do you not
Oh,
say your
sorry.
age?
No, I'm 29.
I'll get the subtitles out, Given. It's fine. It's all right. Wait, what age did you say you were?
29.
Shit, am I the oldest? Wait.
I don't know. I get one of my mods gets really mad at me when I say my age, because she's a couple of weeks older, and if I age myself, I'm putting it on her, and she gets pissy. Fair enough.
Wait, Cheapo, what age are you?
I'm 38. I don't think she's
my
here, so I'm not gonna
God,
get
you're
shot
okay.
at. Yeah. Oh,
I need that skin routine right there, bud.
Yeah.
Great.
Wait, Devo, Dee, what age are you?
I'm 34.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I feel a bit better now. I'm not the not the oldest here. This
Oh,
is
Jesus Christ! All right. I'm just gonna hang up at this point. Yeah.
The grandpa of the chat.
okay. We're all millennials then, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
millennial podcast. Actually, yeah, no, we are. Definitely are. Maybe not Lassie.
I was gonna
Are
say
you?
people argue with about what 1996 falls in between, because it kind of falls in
Yes.
between both of them, but I don't know.
Right.
Wouldn't have a clue.
Oh yeah, you're a millennial.
You are.
You're
You are.
more nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
if
would
you were
say I
96,
am.
sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no, you are. Definitely.
Just
100%.
about, but yeah. Or at least a Zennial in between.
All just making
Oh.
up words now.
No, Zennial exists.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah, I
Zennial
did the
exists.
millennial pause, so I'm definitely a millennial.
Yeah, you're 100% millennial. Definitely.
Right. Well, what we'll do is because we went slightly over time, just a teeny bit, but what we'll do is we'll do outros. So I wasn't sure how fast we'd go through the questions. This is the first time I have had a podcast ever go through all the questions ever. That is the weirdest I've ever seen. We must all just speak fast.
Something Blarney Stone,
maybe.
something, right?
Oh God, don't speak of the Blarney. Oh my God, no. Jesus
We're
Christ.
Irish, we're all yappers.
Yeah, we speak a lot. It must be something. But what we'll do is we'll do the outros and we'll start wrapping up, guys. Because this is the 13th podcast I've done, but it's the first Irish one I've ever done, and it's been fantastic. Do you know what?
Nice.
It's really nice to see. You don't understand how hard it is to find Irish creators for starts, right? For some
I
reason.
know, yeah.
We're nowhere. We're for like people just don't like it's so random, and trying to find people that are active as well is nuts. There's so many people who just quit and disappeared.
There's
and
quite
you
a
can't
few
find
now,
them.
but they're all out in the pub.
Yeah,
There
today
we
they
go.
are.
Yeah, that's it. I know
That's
quite a
it,
few
it's-
streamers, Irish streamers, that would have loved to have done this, but they're like, Ed, it's Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. Are you tapped? That's like, maybe.
I mean, this is the thing. The ones that don't mind coming on that aren't, hammered as well. Yeah, I know. Do you know what? Yes, somebody said in chat, Kevin. Kevin was gonna come on, but he is injured. So again, because he's an accident prone, call me Kevin. He's accident prone. That man's just incredibly just unlucky. But that was the only other one that I knew of. But yeah, we need to create a full on Twitch partner, Twitch, YouTube, Discord together to actually do things, because there's a lot of companies asking, like finally getting into the gaming sphere, and like they're all asking me for creators, and I'm like, listen,
Well, tell them to get the internet sorted first.
Yeah, please.
Please.
Funny enough, Kevin, one of them's an internet company that's
Oh,
is
well,
speaking
tell
to me.
them to
So-
sort me out quick.
Both them around a table, that'd be a fun conversation, I reckon. With them.
Oh my god! But it's so funny because I had a deal with Air, last year, the year before, and it was a pretty decent partnership / sponsorship. And as soon as I needed their help, they were like, "No." It's like, what? It's ridiculous. But sure, look, I have no idea.
Well, then at least we can sort of like say to them like, hey, we got more creators.
Give
than
me
you
an
think,
air
guys.
code.
Yeah, give us the code, guys. It's back in time. Right, yeah, guys. You know what? That's again, that's actually the podcast that's been the least swearing as well. That is so weird, so freaking weird. Especially because they were all
Best
Irish
behaviour.
creators. Yeah, not even the C word. I was so surprised, guys. So surprised.
Oh, we were allowed to say that.
Well, I mean,
Great
I've said it in
cunt.
most podcasts. Yeah, go for it.
Get it in while you can.
There
Might
you
as well do
go.
it now. So what we'll do is we'll wrap up, guys, and just want to, we'll do an outro. Where to find you? Mods are going to shout you out. We'll go with Jeepo. We'll start with you this time because we started with last night the other time. So go ahead. Where to find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Queenie. Find me Jeepo TV. It's written down here. You'll find me on Twitch. You'll find me on YouTube. Although my most recent video is like a year ago, but it is an educational Tarkov video, so it's probably still worth a watch. I stream Tarkov quite a lot, at least a couple of times a week. A few other things. I'm occasionally to be found spreading managed democracy on Bug Planets these days, which is a lot of fun if you haven't tried that as well. But yeah, Twitter as well, and just glad to have you guys swing by, say hi.
Thank you so much for joining. Gibbon, would you like to go ahead, tell us where to find you, and just in general, whatever outro you want to do.
So it's just Mr. Gibbon everywhere and every social, and thank you so much for having me here. And it was lovely to meet you all, because I think this is my first time talking to all of you, so it was a privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah.
Same, dude.
Dude,
Same.
yeah,
Okay.
thank you for joining. Like I was definitely like, just the fact he's all agreed was, I appreciate it big time, because Twitch needs more Irish creators on the front page. So
Absolutely.
Twitch, if you're listening, please, for God's sake, put everybody on. Go on, just put them all on the front page. We're fed up seeing the same London people. Come on, let's go. DB, would you like to do your outro?
Yeah, sure. So it's DB Geek on all my socials: Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. I stream on Twitch. I'm currently playing through the Dark Souls games for the first time, loving it and hating it at the same time. And I make a lot of YouTube content mainly. YouTube is my main platform for creating, but I stream regularly here on Twitch. So yeah, thanks for having me, and it was also great meeting you all. You're a bunch of awesome people.
Agreed, dude. Thank you so much for coming on as well. And Lassie, where to find you, and just your outro in general.
So I'm again Lossa on every single platform. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but LOSSA and then 3 Ys. I'm mainly on Twitch 5 days a week, Monday through to Friday. But yeah, thank you. Like, this is my first time ever doing something like this. Like, I'm still a bit shocked that I was even asked. So it's been lovely meeting everyone, and hopefully we can, like, I don't know, do more things together. It'd be great. Thank you so much, Queenie, for having me on as well, and I've had a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
It's time. Do you know what? Thank you for coming on as well. All of you, every single one of you. I appreciate you. It's been a fight for a while. I've been trying to get more of us on the front page from Ireland and Northern Ireland. So honestly, it's been a privilege to have you guys on. Like, some of you guys have been, creating content for years, and some of you obviously have been more new to the field, but these are a fantastic representation of Ireland and Northern Ireland, both of them, whatever way you want to say it. But you guys are extremely inspirational from like everything that everybody's achieved here. from YouTube to TikTok to Twitch. Like he's doing something that I think shows a lot of young and inspiring Irish creators. Like they can do it. It's hard. It might be hard. It might take a wee while, but they can do it. And no, honestly, I appreciate you all, and happy St. Patrick's Day. And also, anybody who's in the chat, !podcast giveaway, because you can go, if you follow all these amazing creators, you're going to be entered in the giveaway. So go over and do that if you haven't. I recommend following every single one of them, you know, especially if it's Twitters or whatever socials, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. Go over and follow them all. It's absolutely fantastic. And guys, yeah, thank you so much for joining. I will leave you to enjoy the St. Patrick's Day and drink whatever the hell you're drinking, whether it be, you know,
Off to the
booze
pub
or
now for pints, right?
pints. Will be open till 4 a.m. tonight for most places. So there you go. There you go.
Well believed it.
Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you
Thanks,
hopefully
guys.
next time.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon.
Bye.
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 That's it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. They are absolutely amazing creators. Absolutely freaking amazing. It was this, honestly, I'm not even joking. This is the first time ever in a podcast I have got through all the questions ever. Never have I ever got through all the questions. Like, I think a lot of people answered, like, you know, one to the next. Everybody was very prepared, very professional creators. I gotta say, it makes you proud. It actually really makes you proud to see so many successful creators. They're all very just amazing people in general, and all from different backgrounds. Like obviously Gibbon with TikTok, DB with YouTube, Lossy with TikTok and Twitch, and then of course Jeepo with Twitch and Twitter, and obviously another social media as well with tournaments. So it was like a very much balanced podcast of different experiences, different opinions, different like styles. And I think it showed the best of Ireland and Northern Ireland, because I gotta say both. But happy St. Patrick's Day!